Last we left off on Fredas, the 22nd of Hearthfire at dusk. You guys came upon, after traveling through the verdant woods and into the Emerald Forest proper, searching for Peony, the lost draft horse of Boris the farmer. You guys followed the kind of subtle path of rot that became not so subtle as it got through denser foliage. You guys came upon a sun elf ancient abandoned ruin. uh, you started to explore it with Telperion providing a floating torch to light your path. And as you started to make your way through the space, you encountered some weathered ceremonial tables, some kind of relief stone carving artwork in all of the walls on every inch of every wall in this place that was too weathered and whittled down to tell really what it was depicting. um, you made your way through some yellow mold that threatened you guys to turn some of your stomachs at times, but mostly you guys were able to proceed safely. You found a wolf that kind of was keeping an eye on you and then kept running away from you. And then you discovered a dead traveler, relieved him of whatever valuables were on him. Made your way to the central round uh, statue chamber depicting an enormous 15-foot or so tall statue of Corellin Lorethian, the sun elf god, or the elven god of sun, rather, along with his betrothed deity, Angarad, who is a kind of culmination and combination of three different deities, Sehanin, Halani, and Airdrie. In general, that central round chamber is just filled with tons and tons of large statues and just enormously intricate, again, stonework relief carving on that entire spherical wall around you. You continue to look for Peony and followed kind of where the wolf had gone past the ritual ceremony chamber. And you proceeded through some enormous ornate doors into a massive, massive chamber that had a series of kind of arched stonework structures built in a very specific pattern with ornate runes affixed to all of them in different patterns. And you were able to find Peony, the draft horse. It was seemingly unharmed at the top of the altar in the middle of that space. And then behind Peony stepped a dark dryad, a defiled, gross, gnarled creature that had seemingly enchanted Peony and these nearby wolves into following it around, doing its bidding, who knows. After a pretty intense fight, Roulette was able to get the final smash on the creature, and then Jiri was able to get the final smash on the creature. Uh, and after kind of exploring that chamber, calming Peony down with the help of Toby Rama, a true dryad appeared to you, thanking you for your service to its kin, saying that dark dryad had been, severed from its true essence because its birth tree, its place of binding, had been destroyed in the burning of the Emerald 2 years ago. After kind of resolving that encounter, you guys made your way back into the central temple ruin and went into after exploring a little bit more, found your way back into the ritual ceremony chamber and encountered two kind of stonework shelves built into an enormous ceremonial table. Both had an inscription, the same inscription on each, written in Celestial. When you guys, after some discussion back and forth, Telperion started to sing in Elvish and play his lyre, and Toby Rama started singing Celestial out of nowhere, even unbeknownst to him. As those words were sung in Celestial, the runes inscribed into those shelves glowed and the shelves opened. And you guys were able to acquire a scroll of protection from evil and good and a scroll of protection from poison, which is slightly higher level magic. But as Telperion and Toby Rama were amusing themselves in that room and acquiring those items, Rhea had left and was promised to scout the building and just kind of keep an eye out for, any hazards or threats in the nearby area as you guys start to wind down for the day. And Roulette and Jiri find themselves in the central statue chamber, keeping an eye on the sleeping peony at the base of Halani's statue and enjoying some light conversation. What are you two talking about?
Can we get a update on what Peony looks like real quick, though?
Sure. Just a fairly large draft horse, so maybe 7 feet tall, so taller than you guys for sure. Yeah, dark black fur, if it's called fur on a horse, but then a brilliant white, almost hint of silver mane that adorns its head. Beautiful animal.
He's pretty.
Okay, that's not what I was imagining at all, so I'm glad I asked. I guess Jajiri kind of left after Rowlett did. So Jajiri spent some time with the people speaking Elvish and other languages. And so he'll come back to Rowlett. And what's Rowlett up to?
Depending on how long you left after Roulette did, Roulette is, because we are settling down for the evening in this spot. Roulette has actually removed her armor, and she's kind of, you see her fiddling with her armor, with her shield, with a bunch of other stuff removed from pockets, kind of working on her armor in the middle slash side of that room, wherever we are kind of setting up a tent or bedding.
All right, so Jajiri comes up and he's like, "What a jocular crew I've assembled." And he says, Rowlett. I left the other ones. They're busy trying to fight over who's the best at cobweb history. Clearly, you're the brains of the group here, Rowlett. How did you get so smart?
Well, I appreciate the compliment there, Jiri, and I wouldn't call it cobweb history. It's just definitely not my flavor of intellect, or I don't let the fumblings on of gods and all that fun stuff take up room in my head. But I learned it all from my dad, actually. My father, Ernest Tinkerton, he owner of Ernest Tinkerton, E-R-N-E-S-T. Ernest Tinkerton, he's a owner and manager, owner, mother's the manager, owner of Tinkerton's Tools and Touch-Ups back in my hometown. He's a absolutely brilliant man. He anything that has moving parts or doesn't have moving parts and wants to have moving parts, he knows how to enchant it, fix it, poke it, prod it, make it do anything he wants to do, and that's kind of where I learned all my stuff from.
And tell me about your mother then.
My mother, Millie Tinkerton, M-I-L-L-I-E, Millie Tinkerton, as I see you're taking probably notes. So Ernest and Millicent, but everyone in town calls them Ernie and Millie. Millie Tinkerton, she's not really quite the brains of the family, but she'll tell you that straight off herself. She kind of helps manage the store. She's the face of the store, I'd say, and helps keep my daddy in line. And hardworking woman. I wouldn't call her a typical housewife, but she kind of keeps the store afloat.
You sound like you have a lovely family, Rowlett. When will we get to meet them?
That's a great question. It's not been but I'd say a few weeks, maybe a month and a half at most since I last saw them. I'm actually one of the things I have to do. I want to make sure I do tonight before I get to bed is start writing them another letter before I go to sleep. They're back in Bellidonia, which is about 2-3 weeks travel northeast of here. Small town called Storm's Edge. They've got the store there, so if we ever, I don't plan on returning there anytime soon, but Actually, yeah. So I'm not sure. You might, to be honest, you might never meet them. But um, if we ever do find our way, if I ever found my way back to Belladonia, Storm's Edge, then maybe we would meet them. I'd definitely make my way back home. But for now, probably wouldn't meet them anytime soon.
Well, since you learned everything from your father, I'm sure you'd love to teach somebody yourself someday, correct?
That's the goal, actually. If nothing else, I would love to impair or impart my wisdom, limited as it may be at this point in my life, but definitely impart that wisdom and on someone else. And actually, and this isn't so much imparting wisdom, but imparting, I'd say, some of my gifts. You have any of those rocks you used during that first battle, or a rock that you got pocket sized on you?
Sure. And I reach into my tabby and I take out a rock and I give it to you.
I reach into my leather armor, which is probably strewn on the ground at this point, and I take out what looks like a little eyedropper. It's like a little glass tube, but it's got like some metal wrapping around it, and then it's got what looks like a bronze-ish squeezy part. I take the stone and I squeeze the top of it. I don't touch it yet. I squeeze the top of the eyedropper and it starts to glow. And then I touch it to the stone, and then the stone starts to glow blue. After I adjust some of the metal on there.
Jerry's colors.
And I hand it back to Jerry. No, Jerry, it's the stone itself. It's super small, light. It's like 5 feet bright light, and then it's like 5 feet after that for dim light. It's not too big. Now, Jerry, I know you asked for one of the ones that you might be able to turn on and off, but this one you can't technically turn off. But if you put it in your pocket, it'll stay nice and dark. And I know you were looking for some kind of blue light. So if you hold on to this for a bit, I'll make sure it stays blue for at least a little bit.
This is fantastic. I'll store it in my tabby pocket. He puts it in his pocket and he says, well, Rowlett, since you know so much about math and science, maybe you could teach me a little bit. You see, I have a quest. And, I know an awful lot about magic, and I think it might require something else. I've heard a little bit about science. Maybe you could teach me more, but not anytime now. I think the others are coming back soon. Maybe some other time, it would be a little embarrassing to my reputation if people found out I was getting tutored in, math and science.
I will say, Jerry, part of the reason I left Ernie and Millie back in Storm's Edge is I'm trying to learn myself. So I will say, and this is not meant to be offensive at all, I'm a bit more open about how much I don't know about this world. No, I consider myself well learned after having the famed Ernest Tinkerton as my father. But of course, as we kind of go on, if there's anything specific you're looking to learn or research at any point, yes, I'd be more than happy to kind of indulge you in any sort of that learning.
Yes, next time we can get some time together without the others. I think they're coming now. And he'll change the subject suddenly and be like, oh, yes, look, they're back.
What are we each reading one or holding one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I remember correctly, Telperion had the role of protection from evil and good, and Toby Rama had the protection from poison.
Brainy one.
Yes.
Check this out. And I hold it in your face.
Which one am I reading?
Protection from evil and good.
Protection from evil and good, and it is written in Elvish.
I can read that.
That is correct.
Read it.
This I don't think I've actually ever encountered a scroll like this, but if I'm reading and comprehending it correctly, it looks like there's some sort of spell kind of stuck in this paper.
Yes. Exactly what I thought.
Can you read it, or
I can read.
Well, one of them I can't. Can I read the other one?
Apparently, he can read celestial, but not elvish. So kind of like going from, I don't. I can't cast it or anything. So
Okay, I understand. You aren't the spell kind of you've got the sword.
I levitate the scroll into your hand.
You can do some magic. It looks like. If you're not looking to hold on to that scroll, I'd be more than happy to take a look at it and see what it can do.
The pix in me really wants to like bump the scroll into your face, but the Telperian of me wouldn't do that. So I just need everyone to know.
I will gently grab the scroll and put it into my path. Which you give me the good and evil one?
Oh yeah.
$100%. Yeah. But awesome. Roulette is now in possession of the scroll of protection from evil and good.
What I can't understand is why these scrolls specifically were what was left in the temple.
Did those? So I'm assuming y'all didn't enter the temple with these scrolls because I didn't see them before. But did those pop out? I think I saw as I was walking away. Those popped out after y'all finished your performance back there. Apologies, that was rude of me. The singing or incantation, you kind of finished back there.
The table said we offer the song to our star preserver of the firstborn. It was in the ritual room, and we found a scroll of protection from poison and protection from evil and good. And I go. DM, correct me if I'm wrong. More commonly, we study Sylvan, and some of us study Primordial, and some of us study Common. Don't use it as often. But Celestial is something that only the most experienced dusty scribes bother with. Am I right?
100%.
Exactly. Why was it here? Where did they go? Why was that left? These are the questions I'll be meditating on tonight. Also, before I rest, Toby. No, not Toby. Jerry. You took quite a hit in that battle. Can I see your shoulder?
Sure thing. And I take my arm out of my sleeve and uncinch my my tunic that's underneath and pull my arm out.
I'm gonna examine it, and so where does all the air escape from?
My tattoos.
I like lift and look under your arm.
Where arm is just, it's like a like lightning, I guess, kind of fractal pattern of just tattoos that go up and down my arm, and there's just like a little bit soft breeze coming out of them.
I take the medicine pack that I picked off of one of the bodies, and I just want to I like test it. Like I want to poke his shoulder and ask, is this where you were bitten?
No.
I'm poking into it.
Feels pretty fine to me.
Do a couple. I hand you my sword and I say, lift this twice.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And he snags along here where you were bitten.
No.
Okay.
Maybe a little. Hard to tell.
Telperian, as you're examining Jiri, go ahead and make a medicine check for me.
My first roll of the day.
You can go ahead and add your proficiency bonus for your past and experience.
Oh yeah. So
Actually, you might already be proficient with medicine, so it might just be a straight, yeah, just a straight up medicine check.
I'm also using the medical kit.
Sure, which just,
So I would
yeah,
add my medicine, which is +2, and then my proficiency, which is +2. So I'd add 4 to my 11, which is a 15 total.
pretty good. You can very clearly see that Jiri's, I believe it was Roulette, correct me if I'm wrong, that had mended the Tavi's sleeve, so that looks healed. Jiri's wound from the wolf bite looks healed, but you can definitely see that, if left fully untreated, this will heal fully, but maybe leave a scar.
I should
Hold on,
clarify.
it's not my tabby, it was my jacket. The tabby is the apron thing.
Gotcha.
I should clarify a proficiency with my herbalism, not my medical, but I'm kind of using both, I assume, in this.
Sure.
Yeah. So I want to take a leaf out from my pouch in the back, and I want to chew it up, and then I want to push it into where the healed over spot was, and I want to put one loose wrap over it, and I'll say, "Let this sit for the night, and you shouldn't have any snags in the morning."
Well, it's gonna be hard to breathe.
Breathe through your tattoos, then.
Well, it's a saying.
It is it. I look. No, I know what it's saying is. Is it saying amongst the humans? Anyway, it matters not. Yeah, hard to breathe, but you'll sleep it off, and there you go.
I'll put my arm back in my sleeve. Thanks, Telperion. I feel better already. Do I get any health back, or is that just future health, maybe?
More just reflecting the kind of real world immersion of you were mechanically healed, but this is an extra layer of fully addressing the wound.
Now it feels.
Well, no, I do have damage dealt to me though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you knew that I wasn't at full health though. So there probably would be some internal bleeding, maybe.
Sure.
For any clarification, the several times I've whipped out a medicine kit or done anything, I haven't healed. It's more of, as Critter said, the immersion of preventing a scar or damage to your person.
Makes sense. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, Jiri does.
Roulette, you took several hits too. Are you feeling all right at this point?
I think I'm feeling pretty good. I've mended most of my my armor, and I'm gonna kind of let that sit for the night. And my wound that I took, kind of upper chest, the patch I put on it's done its work and it's healed quite over. The flavored water you gave me earlier too has definitely helped settle my stomach. It was I will say more of a emotional damage than anything, and definitely soothed my nausea. I'll say physical damage though. I'm right as rain.
I'd like to take out a small bottle of. It looks like it's a little bottle of Elvish wine, and I want to I don't have cups, but I got little tiny cups and little acorns, and I pour a shot for everybody, and I want to do a toast. 5 shots because our friend is with us too. Yeah,
one for the horse, dude.
I pull out a little acorn, yeah, and one for the horse. And I want to say some Elvish wine from the Nimberfield elves to Roulette's first victory.
I very much appreciate that.
Here, what a jocular team I've assembled. Jerry says it again.
Yes.
And then I take my little shot.
Awesome. And whether or not you poured one for Rhea, you do immediately remember that she's still scouting the area and is not within earshot right now. Or maybe she is, but she's.
The fifth was for Peony, and I hope Jerry drank it because I gave Jerry 2 acorns.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Classic Lola.
What does it look like when Tobirama ritually casts that spell? right, and then you are all free to bed down and eat rations however you'd like to kind of unwind and get ready for a slumber tonight. Anyone want to kind of describe
Well,
how to get
Jerry
ready?
doesn't have his pack, so he's gonna be like, well, so who's cooking? Telperion, you know how to cook?
I confess I haven't cooked all that much in my life, but I have a couple figs, some lettuce, some dry jerky. Killed that one myself. Water, herbs.
Roulette's now down on like the D&D version of a Nature Valley bar at this point. She's just like crumbing away.
Yeah, definitely like from the blood.
Well, sounds like we're gonna need to find a chef next time we're in town.
Might be a good addition to this team you're assembling, Jerry.
Yeah, clearly we've got an open position.
Is your little boy a chef?
Moby? No, can barely carry a pack, correct?
So, Jerry, let me get this straight. You want prepared food, but you can't really prepare it yourself, and your manservant doesn't prepare food for you.
Nope. Or no, that's correct.
Without your pot, you have anything to sleep with.
Well, my clothes are pretty puffy.
You can have my trance pillow if you'd like.
Well, he like shows you how he lies down, and he's like, he's puffy, you know what I mean? So
Are
he's
you
like, it's pretty
walking your bed?
Yeah.
I go over and I don't take a bedroll around because I trance. So I take essentially my butt pillow, what I sit on when I trance, and I try to like shove it under your head. Like, here, take this.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm gonna go off into the corner over there.
I will trance for 4 hours if someone wouldn't mind keeping watch, and then I'll be awake the rest of the night, and no one else will need to take watch.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
Hey,
Also, just because we haven't gotten into this in this campaign, typically, I believe the way D&D is, long rests work is you need 8 hours of a rest. 6 of those hours this does not apply to Telperion per se. 6 of those hours have to be sleeping or, deep rest. And 2 of those hours can be light activity like keeping watch or,
short resty.
Yeah, short resty, but an 8-hour period. So for Telperion's 4-hour trance that he's going to go through, it would probably require 2 separate watches to, if while he's resting, 2 separate people can take a watch shift, and then for everyone to get their benefit in 8 hours. So, Toby Rama, were you suggesting you were going to take that first watch? She will come back around this time as the sun starts getting out of, it was already dark in the forest, but little bits of sunlight could at least let you know that there was daylight available still. That has disappeared. Now she's coming back in and is readying a bedroll for herself as well. So she will happily oblige. But while you are, is everyone done for the night? Is anyone doing additional things?
I'm going to trance in front of the statue of Corellin and his lover.
Let's have Toby Rama make a perception check for your watch. And just for our own benefit, what does Toby do during his watch? Just kind of chill out? Yeah, so while you're watching Telperion, would you like to tell us what it looks like when these, strangers are watching you trance? What does this process look like?
Well, I don't have my pillow right now, so I just sit in front of my butt pillow. I just sit in front of the statue. Um, and yeah, exactly. A little loose though. And hands just hang down, closes his eyes, and essentially just looks like he's sleeping while sitting up. But if you did like look closely, you'd see his eyes aren't very restful. And I would say there's like I got one braid there, but like the hair that is down, like definitely waving a little bit in an unnatural way. Something, something's going on. Yeah, the rapid eye movement. Yes.
Awesome. 11's not bad at all. You don't see anything of note except for roulette. Will you make a con save for me?
Of course.
Wow. Definitely a very good con save. You notice, Tobirama, you notice that roulette kind of like convulses for a moment in her sleep. Roulette, you may even wake for just a moment, feeling a need to dry heave or vomit, but you settle your stomach and you have a very odd kind of like a tickling in your throat and a bitter taste in your mouth. But after that moment passes, you are successfully able to get back to sleep with no problem. No, yeah, unless she's alarmed in any way, she has very quickly settled her stomach and is able to fall back asleep with essentially functionally uninterrupted sleep. So um, after your shift is able to proceed successfully, and Rhea will kind of wake back up whenever you wish to prod her, and she will take the next shift. What do you do when you go to sleep? Anything of note?
Where in the temple do you go?
Yeah, that's a good point. Would everyone arrange themselves on the map where they would like to rest?
Yeah.
He was going.
I'm in like dead center.
Corella dead center. Yeah. Ray. Awesome. Rhea will kind of position herself with her back against a statue, kind of sit down with her bow just calmly in her lap with an arrow nocked just in case she sees anything enter the temple. But she will now, through the next 2 hours, make her watch. 7's not very good. She may even doze off while having just made it through a hard day. And even the wood territory you guys made your way through was even unfamiliar to her. And she was maybe even, more uncomfortable than she thought, out of her element in a situation that should have been in her element. But as she maybe dozes off, Telperion, as you trance, what thoughts start to occupy your mind? Where do you start trying to lead your subconscious?
I'm thinking about the main question is why did you leave? Why did you leave? Where did you go? Why did you leave? I'm also thinking about what I've seen here. So I'm thinking about the statues that seem like they were tended to. I'm thinking about the empty magic pools, like the pretty, empty pools. I'm thinking about the large outdoor worship area that seemed to respect the sun. thinking about. I'm just trying to. Like thinking about all the clues and like putting them in a box and seeing like if any ideas are coming out from it.
Okay. So as you trance, let me also ask you, as you trance and your physical eyes are left open, what does it generally like sense wise? What is Telperian's what do his senses do when you enter your trance? If they're all seeing your eyes stay open, does
They're shut, but you'd see like the movement underneath his eyes.
I see, I see.
Like what's the sensation like?
Yeah.
I suppose it would be like my body relaxes a lot, even though I'm sitting up. So like I'm not tense as I'm sitting up, like I'm very lax. I feel like it would be like in the interior of my head would be very warm. Like essentially he's not in like a warm, cozy bed, but that feeling is in his brain. And the sound definitely like would be like very close in. And he would be kind of like look eyes open in his mind, knowing he's probably from trances before he sees things while he's trancing.
Awesome. While you enter this state of deep relaxation and meditation, you suddenly hear a shuffle of possibly footsteps nearby.
I will wake up.
Well, as you open your eyes, you're able to quickly determine that you are still within your trance state right now, but this space looks slightly altered. You can see ghostly images of your companions where they rested for the night. You can see Toby Rama off to the side, Rhea kind of slumped over, dozing on her watch shift, but they're ghostly faint images that suggest like almost an alternate reality. But you are also able to immediately see the shuffling, and you don't hear any conversation or language, but you see the shuffling around of multiple robed figures walking around the space.
Can I stand up?
Absolutely. You are free to, you are in control of your own body.
I will stand up.
You're able to do so. What you notice immediately is also just the nature of the space looking different. Is it's a strange, almost psychedelic, shall we say, overlay of you are seeing primarily the space you just started your trance in, like all the stone, the worn down statues that have, oxidized, and the stonework relief carvings of the walls that have weathered away. But also you're almost like a ghostly after image. You're almost seeing what these were: beautiful gold and copper and brass statues of these deities of the Elven pantheon, the Seldarin pantheon. You're seeing like bits and traces of color on all the stone relief work walls that are hinting at what they might have looked like once. But again, it's kind of like your focus is going in and out. You're not able to very clearly discern what those images are representing. But again, most notably, probably that there are multiple other figures, maybe a dozen humanoid figures walking around in this space that you can see.
I feel like my military tactics would be checking in. I'd be looking at the entrances and exits, and then I want to see observe the movement patterns of the people. Like, are they just going from statue to statue? Or are they exiting and leaving?
Varied purposes, it seems like. Some are maybe dressed in slightly more ornate robes and are paying more heed to the statues. Others, you notice, are in these figures that are robed. You kind of, some of the iconography of their robes and the filigree and stuff like that are very clearly indicating their hoods are up, but you can tell that these are elven figures. More noticeably, as you start to look around, you can see humans and half elves and other races. There's maybe a couple gnomes. There's other people in this space that is very surprising to you, knowing that this is an elven space protected by elven ritual mythol magic.
I try to wander close to some of the figures to see if I hear any conversation.
As you move closer to them, you can see like a robed elf bend down and offer food and drink to a small gnome cuddled up in the corner. And you can see their mouths and lips moving, but you hear no audio, essentially. You hear no conversation coming from them. And upon getting closer, you can see where current day rubble is. Their feet simply like drift through it, almost as if you're seeing some version of what this was, but it is not tangible.
What's going on with the magic fountains?
They are filled with water. They are glittering with just like maybe arcane hints of gold. It just looks like a very beautiful, magical reflecting pool, essentially. And that bright blue, beautiful stonework is still very evident and cleaner and more polished.
I try to put my hands into the water.
You're able to do so, and you do not feel any liquid.
I guess looking around the room, can I glean any more information from that? Like what kind of the pattern of the movement or anything? Do I see any, like something that sticks out as unusual, or I'm kind of debating if I should go look elsewhere for more clues before this happens.
One thing of note, actually make a perception check for me real quick.
9.
Okay. One thing that you could notice is that where your current space, fallen ruin and tree overgrowth had totally surrounded this temple. Right now, there's a beautiful glass kind of atrium. I'm probably using the wrong word, astrolabe type framework and glass dome that sits over the center of this space, directly over Corellan's statue. And you can see a shadow pointing that was not available to see from your current time. But you can see a shadow kind of, angled from the position of the sun that's making it in through the ceiling, hitting the statue and presenting essentially a sundial type effect from the very statue of Corellan.
Okay. I want to head to the ritual room if I have enough time to do that.
Yeah, you are welcome to do that. You make your way over there. There are 2 priests in there, seemingly in conversation, but nothing else of note. You still see that same celestial text on those shelves. You see, again, it's difficult to focus, but you can see just in general hints of what was a more well-polished space. So maybe there were other shelves that are no longer there, or more well-polished statues, hints of color, and additional relief carving on walls and such.
At this point, I'm gonna run outside to where we fought the dryad because I'm just like getting a little stressed and anxious that I haven't figured out more, knowing that this won't last for very long.
You are able to. The doors are both open, and for a moment you almost like hesitate in not alarm, but a slight moment of stress that if this isn't tangible or real, how am I going to open those doors? But they're open. You run down the stairs. You can see a ceremony taking place with multiple figures on the altar, and the entire space, very similarly to the dome above Corellan, there's a large glass metal framework dome over that whole space that is letting light in, and most notably those stone archways that interweave and interlock each other. All of the runes are pulsing like a bright, vivid, like brilliant golden amber color, and then they all pulse white once, really, really bright. And as they brighten up, the room just becomes blinding and overwhelms your vision with light. And as you try and adjust and see anything, what feels like a few moments, your vision starts to crystallize again, and you have just woken up from your trance.
What's Rhea doing?
Sleeping. Her head is kind of off to the side, bow, arrow knocked in her bow string, kind of just like in her lap, but just like has clearly slumped over on the job.
And so my watch begins.
Awesome.
So that's 4 hours then, right?
Correct. No, no, you did 2 hours. No, this was all during Telperian's 4 hour. Yeah,
I have 4 hours of watch right now.
Kobe's and Rhea's 2 hours each just occupied that same time that Telperian was trancing. No, no worries. Okay.
Two.
As you start drifting off to sleep, you fall into a deep sleep. Your eyes go black, there's no vision, and suddenly you feel a certain sort of sentient awareness of the space around you. You try and open your eyes, but everything is jet black, except for a white, gray, silvery mist that permeates every part of the space around you. It's almost like, not that there doesn't seem to be any light source anywhere around you, but the mist is kind of catching light somewhere and reflecting it and is therefore visible in some regard, as if it was a dark street in a moonlit alley where mist could be visible. You hear, all of a sudden, you hear a deep, deep voice call out to you. Child defiled, one of many origins, balance bringer, Iron Son, we have taken notice of your service. You have shown mercy and guidance to those at their end. You have extended his blessing to those around you at your own judgment. Extension of life comes naturally to you. So now he entrusts you with the extension of death, which you have earned. He believes you have the wisdom to delineate between those deserving of life and those who should forsake it. Your hands start to burn, and as you look down, like you can see your body, you are physically in this space of darkness and white silver mist. Your hands start to burn, and almost like similarly in a way to, but maybe more natural organic skin rather than plant rot, you see a dark necrotic energy kind of surround your hand and start to burn a little bit. What do you do? My Lord has entrusted me to take heed of your actions at this time. I will be watching and have been for some time. As you kind of like, in confusion, admiration, whatever emotions are flooding through Toby right now, if you kind of shake your hands, that dark necrotic energies just kind of wafts off and flex into nothingness. And almost, or at least that energy seems to flow from your hands when you wish it to. Bear it wisely and do not take his trust lightly. Yep. As you do, the mist starts to become translucent, more so, completely transparent, and all you see again is jet black nothing as you drift off back into sleep.
This is an eventful night of sleep.
Sure. Child defiled, one of many origins, balance bringer, Ironson. Jiri.
There's more. Jesus. I'm just over here throwing up.
You're just dreaming about puking and little stones of magic.
Jiri, as you begin your long rest, as you kind of settle down for the night, are enjoying your pillowy form and the trance pillow that Telperion has, accommodated for you.
He's never farted on because our elves don't fart.
I was about to say, am I gonna wake up with pink eye after this?
Perhaps, maybe roll a con save. We'll see. But as you start to get into bed and you start to, what did it look like when Jiri starts to end his day and fully give himself to rest and try and go to sleep?
He kind of just like laid down. He went off by himself, close to the entrance. He wanted to be close to the entrance, kind of out of the way where he could keep an eye on everybody. Like if he needed to get up and see where they were at, but far enough away, he had some privacy. And so he's just going to curl up, and he uses his naturally puffy clothing because it's cinched at the arms and the legs to kind of just relax and like weasel his way into the corner and like push his head down between his legs. He's going to sit like kind of like this, and then put his tabby over his head to like get some privacy.
Gotcha. So as you do so and kind of ready yourself and prepare yourself to fall asleep, perhaps kind of almost subliminally, kind of images from the day kind of float through your brain as you're, preparing to sleep. And then finally, whether you believe this is the case or not, you reflect on your final blow of the Dark Dryad. You remember that although Roulette smited it down, your blow was the final. And you recall when you drew your blade and plunged it into the heart of the remaining tree-like figure, your purple-bladed sword pierced its body. And then you have a very instantaneous psychological moment where something changes. You all of a sudden see that blade is no longer purple but black, and the form that you have just pierced is no longer that form of the tree-like monstrosity, but a man in black and red armor. You snap out of this odd sensation and realize you're still in the ancient ruins you settled down in for the night. But as you fall asleep, a chill starts to take your body and you are able to drift off into sleep.
And I think my natural instinct is to think, black. Why black? It should be blue. I've always said it was blue. Doesn't seem right. I need to keep trying.
All right, but you are successfully able to fall asleep. And now we'll have Telperion roll the final watch check. Perception, please.
Yeah, Alex. 15.
That's pretty.
It's fine.
You are fairly attentive. You almost smirk in not condescension, but
I smirk in condescension a little bit.
Smirking condescension that the half-orc ranger traveling with you fell asleep on her watch, but you are very attentive, and maybe even the nature of this space just keeps your attention in a way that you're not very tired now that.
Well, yeah, I'm patrolling around the room. I am like, well, first of all, I'm very actually interested, like Toby was, although I didn't know it, in like watching everyone sleep.
Sure.
Because like I haven't seen that a whole lot.
Sure. I was actually prepared to give you something on that regard with your roll of a 15. So Toby Rama, sleeping very peacefully. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I puzzled that one out real quick.
I picture like me on the king bed. Just like,
oh my God.
So Toby looks comfortable. Roulette seems to, again, Similarly to what Toby experienced, you see Roulette just like double over almost in her sleep, takes up a fetal position for a moment, but then relaxes again. Nothing specifically of note, and otherwise seems to sleep peacefully. Upon inspecting Jiri, you simply notice that he's kind of shivering at night. And
Jerry,
then,
when he sleeps, he's kind of like a dog. You know how dogs kind of like move in their sleeps? He kind of like, you can hear him making like sword sounds and like saying like incantations like under his breath.
I also like don't know if any of this is weird, so I just kind of like leave everyone to their individual little things.
Yeah.
I will spend some time like levitating just a rag and like dusting off the statues since I have literally nothing to do for 4 hours. Yeah, and I'll just kind of sniff around. I don't want to leave them untended, so I will like circle this room a lot and just like kind of look for clues and also yeah.
Sure. I'll say with dusting off the statues with a rag, it is almost defeating feeling. You're feeling respectful of this place and that you're brushing off dust, but just the heavy, potentially millennia worth of oxidization that has happened to these once metal statues seems to just be, no amount of brushing off with a cloth would even restore them, and is almost sad in that way. But otherwise, as you are preparing to, 3 hours, 3.5 hours has maybe passed. The sun is maybe starting to peek out from little bits of tree cover. Notably, you notice Jiri's not shivering anymore. Seems to be more restfully sleeping now. But otherwise, you guys are able to successfully complete your long rest.
Can I get up 2 hours early? Jiri's got to do something after 6 hours.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so Telperion at 2 hours in, let's say, Jiri stopped kind of shivering, became a little more restful, but then kind of rose after 6 hours of deep sleep, is able to, use himself with light activity for a while. So,
and he goes kind of over to this room. You see him kind of disappear in this direction.
You are welcome to do so.
Which room is that?
The one in the bottom right where the large central reflecting was. Anything you're trying to do, Jiri?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure Telperion could probably hear it, but you might hear him, you hear like a sword being sheathed and unsheathed, and you can kind of hear him like saying these like, like normal Jajiri quotes. You hear him talking about thunder and lightning and summoning a sword. And you just hear him kind of doing that for about an hour. Just, the sword being sheathed and unsheathed. And then after an hour, it stops.
Cool. Anything specific you want to do to kind of amuse yourself for the final hour of the long rest?
Yeah, I want to go sneak a peek on this though. I'm gonna take off my armor and I'm gonna go be like, what the fuck's he doing?
Okay, make a stealth check.
Makes it sound like you're like stripping to go watch.
No, I just want to get rid of my disadvantage because I got the time to drop my armor.
Yeah.
15.
Let's say, Jiri, you're focused on your task. So what's your passive perception?
I think an 11.
Okay, so I believe Telperion's probably successfully able to sneak a peek at whatever forms you're currently practicing.
All right, well, he would see me and you'd probably hear me. And I'll just give you one such quote, but they're all along the same thing. You hear him, he's kind of just standing there, his back towards you, and he says, "Thunder flashes and lightning roars. I summon me a mighty sword. Adras the Starbender. I beseech you, lend me your splendor." And he rips the sword out of the sheath. And he looks at it, and every single time he says, "Rats!" And he sticks it back in, and he does it again, and he comes up with a different phrase every single time.
Telperion, would you position yourself where you are on the map as you do this?
I guess it would depend. Like this is the quarter I'm going through, and I don't know where he is in the room, but I'd go far enough to see him.
Sure. So in addition to, taking a peek at what he's doing, make a perception check.
It's 14.
Okay. You don't notice anything necessarily, but
Cool.
you guys are able to successfully complete your long rest.
You don't notice anything, bitch.
Well, after an hour, I don't know how long you're watching me for.
I'll just watch for like 10 minutes and then peace back.
Okay.
Cool. So after an hour, Fury, was there anything else you wanted to do?
Yes, Jiri gets fed up with his sword, puts it away. That's about it. Or no, sorry. He pulls out of his pocket, two hand wraps. He wraps his hands up, and he's gonna sit there and peacefully rest for the last hour.
Okay. You are welcome to do so. You now all wake up freshly healed, recovered in any way. You guys
Hold up.
all of your level 2 benefits that you wish to choose in different manners. And yeah, you guys are welcome to start your day. Yini is probably like, shaking off and is awake and alert, but is not making too much whinnying noises or seems very at peace right now.
Oh, yeah.
Did you mention you were stepping outside real quick? As you walk out of the temple's front entrance with your wildly high passive perception of 20, there's a pack right outside the front door right next to you. Just like an adventurer's pack.
We're like of cigarettes? That's where I thought he was going too.
A fairly fancy, above average leatherwork quality adventurer's pack. Oh yeah, it's that one.
Screech.
You are able to find Jiri.
What? Yeah. What time of day is this?
Let's say it's probably really early morning, right when sunrise happens. So like, let's say 6:37 in the morning.
Okay. So I finished up, kind of resting there. So I get up, hearing Toby Rama, and I run over. What is it? Oh, is there a troop of singers out front? A play, perhaps? Oh, Moby, where are you? Moby! Moby! Where is that lad?
You are able to look around if you wish, but no humanoid that matches Moby's description seems to be within sight.
He probably was too scared to enter the temple. Sounds like Moby. Yes, well, actually, time's a little different here. In the material plane, maybe a few days, months, I don't know, to be honest.
As you guys are talking, Rhea kind of comes up behind you and, just kind of, morning stretches and stuff. What are you guys talking about up here? I would be surprised. Sorry, I apologize, Jerry. I don't know how dedicated Moby is to your service, but I would be very surprised if Gallus allowed Moby to make his way out this way. Very curious.
I wonder where he went. Probably got scared off by the elf enchantments around here.
Perhaps, perhaps.
Well, I better check to see if all my things are here.
Yeah, you're able to with thaumaturgy. What does it sound like and look like when Toby casts thaumaturgy?
Classic warlock cantrip.
Yeah, as you create your thaumaturgy effect, that space seems to kind of, jostle like you just described, and the pack behaves as if a normal pack that would respond in that way.
Oh, what was that, Toby? Was that magic? I'm gonna pull Toby aside so Rhea can't hear, and I'll say,
Sure.
Toby, can you? I know we talked about this before, but can you teach me how to do magic? I have a quest, and I know a lot of things, lots of science stuff that I know and math, but I don't know a lot about magic. Maybe you could teach me a little. All right, excellent. But don't tell the others. It would be embarrassing for my image if everybody found out I didn't know how to do magic. Oh, fantastic, Toby. Well, let's jump. Let's make sure everything's there. Where's Roulette?
At this point, I think I would walk out with Roulette. Yeah, well, Roulette and I walk out with Peony. Like,
I'm working on my armor.
okay, well, I'm like, fuck. I
wanna
walk
call
out and I'm
Roulette
like,
over.
yeah, I walk out of inside because we're watching Roulette. Say, y'all ready to go soon?
Yes, fantastic news. What a great little lad he is. Too scared to come into the Elven Temple, though. So foolish. He'll have to come back and get my pack eventually. No, it'll be all right. Roulette, come here. I've got something to show you. And so Jerry's going to start digging through.
Further inside right now.
Roulette will come out at this point. She spent like the last 30 minutes of her rest doing work on her armor and her shield.
Yeah, so to pause things outside real quick, what is Roulette doing right now to those items?
So specifically to the question earlier, so she took her leather armor off and all of this morning since she's woken up, or like finishing what she's doing before she go to bed, She has been specifically inscribing a bunch of runes on very specific spots on her studded leather armor. So there are very thin wires going from, and that's like almost like imperceptible wires going from like different studs, almost like tendons on the different parts of the armor. But it's weird because like when she bends her arm, it doesn't like get all floppy. It just kind of retracts, and then when she extends, it kind of extends with it. And that's like all over her armor, like specifically on her joints, her arms and her legs, and then her torso as well. And then you see on her shield, like the top part, like the frame of the shield just looks like it had something added to it. It just looks like a tiny little extra like piece of metal. You can't, it's nothing like too crazy, but it looks like there's some extra pieces of material around the shield.
Do you carry the shield, or do you like have it on your pack, or like where's the shield?
When I'm like not, when we're just like conversing, it's just like strapped to my back. But otherwise it'll be strapped to my left arm. And it's literally like it's about the size of my torso. So it's like it's a teardrop shape. So it like starts here and goes down, and imagine just like comes to a point. So it's about the size of my torso that I hold in front of me.
So now,
at this point, I will have wandered out when I hear my name.
well, let's go back 5 minutes before, because I do want to. I will ask. I want to watch and try to figure out if it's just like smithing and map, or if it's like I want to pay attention now that I know what was happening.
If you're paying attention, you will watch. Yeah. You'll see like a couple of random tools come out of the pockets. Some of them are like regular tools, like it's a hammer and like a chisel or something. But there will be other tools that you like you can't really tell what they're supposed to do because they like move in weird ways. It's like a pair of scissors, but it's always extended in the wrong way, but they're not sharp, or like a pair of tweezers, but they like only go in the opposite direction. So you'll see a bunch of that. Most, if not all, of the stuff that you see is covered in runes. And every now and then when I'm like touching the armor, it will glow. Anytime like I'm touching a rune or something, it'll like usually blink for an instant. Some might retain a tiny little glow on it, but it's definitely, you can definitely tell that it's more than just like mechanical engineering. There is some sort of magical enchantment associated with it as I keep doing things.
I squat down and I say, so why leather, not chain of steel?
It's mostly from, I think I've said this to Jerry, but I'll share with you. But what I learned was everything I learned about kind of working with these tools came from my dad. And number one rule from him was practicality. Leather is kind of what we had in Storm's Edge. Not too many warriors or armored gents or ladies coming through Storm's Edge. Leather's what we had. Leather's what I could work with. So that's why I kind of ended up working with this, and I curtailed it to exactly how I needed. And I'm like patting down like all of the different pockets. And I'm like, chainmail or the fancy stuff you got on doesn't work too well with pockets. So this is kind of where I ended up. I've got quite a few tools, and again, patting myself down, quite a few tools to carry around. And I wanted to make sure I had a place to put them.
And was it your father who taught you these runes?
It was. He taught me, I'll say, damn near all of them. A few I found, or I'll say created myself, but the base of it, all base of all my knowledge, it comes from my father. Yeah.
Looking at the runes, what's the like linguistic origin of them? Or is it just like runic?
Make a history check.
12.
You are not able to discern any linguistic origin. They seem like symbols rather than letters and language.
Okay.
From a reference point too, it looks similar to the stuff in the other room, kind of where it's less of a translated language and more of just like a number in a runic form.
Yeah, glyphs and symbols are arcane wingdings.
That is the best way to describe this. Yes.
I'll ask, will you be much longer? I think it's probably time we head back with the horse.
No, I think I'm just about done.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just about done, and I will
You and your father seem very talented. I'm excited to see what else you can make.
don my armor. Well, the goal is he's taught me how to make quite a few things, but goal is to make learn how to make a few more things. And I will don my armor, don my shield, and well, not don my shield. It'll go on my back. But Telperion, let me show you one thing as a bit of. I don't like to show off too much, but I do like to make sure my talents are freshly honed, something I haven't kind of worked with in a bit. And I will take out from my pocket a tiny cube that is just slightly larger than the die that you had, but there are no numbers on it. It is just more runes, and you can tell it's like a whetstone just by the texture of it. And I will just pick up a rock. I will pick up a rock, and you'll see me like basically hit the whetstone against the rock in a specific way. And I will say, Telperion, just hold on to this, and you can kind of just take this, and I'll hand you the rock. It looks like a rock, feels like a rock. It smells like a distilled version of the drink that you gave me yesterday, just like a very herbal, like pleasant scent coming from it, and it will not stop. Part of what this little doodad can do is kind of imbue a scent or a smell or a sound even into any other kind of small object. So feel free to hold on to that. If it gets a little too stinky, just let me know and I can take it away.
A smelling stone?
It's you can call it a smelling stone.
Well, perfect. Next time someone is battle weary, we will have them sniff it.
I can make it as pungent as you want, and we can make him some. My father called them smelling salts. Really perky you right up.
I'll tuck it in the front of my armor, so I'm like smelling it all day because it smells like. What did I say?
Your battle cleavage.
Yeah, my battle cleavage because it smells like clove and
lavender, I think.
Yeah,
Lavender,
clove and lavender.
yeah.
It smells great.
Lavender.
Spicy and sweet.
Ooh, actually, yeah, that's definitely what I went for. Yeah.
Lavender in the clavicle. Perfect.
Cleavender.
All right. So
That's it.
Let's get moving.
I think I heard Jerry call him a name. We should probably check out what's going on.
Yep. So you guys are able to, get to the entrance of the ruins, and the commotion is outside, and they are seemingly celebrating the fact that Jerry's pack has arrived.
Roulette, come quick. I've got something to show you.
What you got going on, Jerry?
I know you love sewing just like I do. Take a look at my sewing kit. It's in here somewhere.
And Jerry will start like rifling through his pack,
Mm-hmm.
looking for his sewing kit.
If it was in there, you are able to find it.
Do you
Okay.
find it?
Okay, good.
And I say, believe it or not, Rollet, this is the only skill I've ever taught myself is how to sew.
Take
Take a look at my sewing kit.
And it's just like a little pouch with like needle and thread and like string in it. Very, very basic.
Do you ever make anything? Like, I guess any of the garments you're wearing, did you sew them yourself, or?
I sewed up my tabby. I gave it a pocket.
Oh, is that the big pocket you got there in the front?
Yes.
Looks pretty hardy up there. You currently carrying anything in there besides I know you're carrying the stone I gave you earlier.
I got 3 stones, and I had my wraps in them,
He shows you his fists.
but I'm gonna wear them now.
Oh, okay. I duck out of the way as he fake punches at me. Are those a special ceremonial purpose or something, or are those more of a martial use?
It's for socking wolves in the face.
Oh, you know what? I am 100% on board with socking wolves in the face, uh, especially after how yesterday went.
And I'll ask you about your sewing kit.
So, tell me about your sewing kit. How were you able to fix my coat so quickly?
Well, it's not so much a sewing kit; it's just a single needle, and I from like a long thin pocket on the side of my armor, I will pull out the sewing needle, and it's probably like terrifyingly like 4.5, 5 inches long. I'll say 4 inches long just for ease of use sake. It's not so much a sewing kit, and it's just a sewing needle. And as I roll it around, so it's covered with a bunch of runes on the side of it. These are connective runes and in different fabric material related runes. So as it kind of weaves through a different material, it produces that material as it goes through it. So as I kind of went to sew up your tabby, the needle knew it needed to transmute itself into more tabby material, and it kind of just mends it together as the needle progresses through. No fabric, no string required.
Now, did you invent this device yourself?
This one, no, this one specifically came from my daddy. He when my father and my mother were younger and kind of courting in their young lovers phase, my mama she was always climbing and tearing her dresses. So he kind of created this needle for himself to fix her dresses because she was always tearing them. And the needle essentially kind of went through the dress and just mended it back together.
Does it have a name? And if it doesn't, you should call it the Jajiri Needle 2.0.
It does not have a name at this point. I will take that name into consideration, although I will likely call it something Tinkerton related since my father did invent it.
I said,
Yeah.
before you answer that, before you answer that, shall we talk about this while we walk? Do we have a hasty return?
We do have a home return and
a long journey. Like a couple hours.
Yeah, I think Rhea will speak up. Yeah, I think it took us longer to get here than it should to get back. So as long as we're following the twig snap path that we were able to, thank you to our elven friend, I imagine it should take no more than 2 hours time to make it our way back. Yep, you are able to grab Peony and head out.
Before we go, I'm gonna raise.
Absolutely, continue talking if you wish on your way.
Sorry, you told us to go, and then you're like, before we go.
It's my exit, my party word. I'm just gonna, as we go, I'll wave at the temple and I'll say, Nahired Palan Deriel Elrim, which is my way of saying bye.
For those that understand Elvish, what was that?
I don't know.
Oh, you want me to say?
Yes.
Oh,
let us know what that was for those that did understand it.
I thought you meant like you wanted him to say. I said, may we meet soon, brothers and sisters.
Beautiful.
Elves, essentially.
As you bid farewell to this ancient place that you fairly thoroughly explored and feel like you did a good service there, you start making your way a little bit west, then a little bit north, back toward where you believe Forest Hollow is. Yeah,
Nope.
No, I'll send Moby for it. You know, it's what he gets paid for.
that's a Jiri question.
I do ask for my pillow back, by the way.
For what?
My pillow back.
Oh. It's pretty light. There's like not much in it.
Really? Why? Moby can do it. The boy needs exercise. He's growing.
We can hand it off to Moby when we catch up with him.
Be careful with it. I've got a very precious bottle of air in there. Okay, well, if it gets lost or broken, I'm gonna blame you.
After an hour of walking, how much does it look like Toby is struggling to carry 2 packs?
Probably no more than he was struggling to carry his own pack. Like, it's not wearing him down, even if
Okay.
it's a slightly increased weight load, not affecting his travel.
Okay.
However, as you are proceeding and traveling about an hour in, one of you can make a survival check with advantage per Rhea's help. Toby, run. So, yes. Yes. So if you hover over it and it shows you the red B die, if you hold Shift, it'll go plus. If you hold Control, it'll go minus, and that's going to trigger advantage or disadvantage. 17 is good. 17 is good enough. Depending on how sure-footed you guys were, this route could have taken you a couple different ways, actually. But you are able to, let me move you guys over to here.
Critter's like, well, there go those 3 maps I had for the 2 roll.
I had prepared alternates depending on the DC was different thresholds for different encounters.
Save it for later.
Yeah, this is the higher version of that. You are able to come to a small glade clearing. This is representing night, but it's more like it's still dense canopy cover in the Emerald Forest, so very little light is getting through, but it is day. It is daytime. But as you are proceeding through the kind of following the twig path and such, you kind of see something you didn't see the previous day in your confusion and the search in unfamiliar territory. Now that you're more sure-footed, more familiar, you catch sight of a pool of water off to the side, and you guys just are welcome to kind of detour in that direction to check it out if you wish. And I think you guys have control of Peony, but Peony will happily oblige, and maybe I only have control of Peony, actually. No, all players should. Will happily drink from the edge of the pond.
Oh, definitely. I'm all out. I'm so thirsty. I've got 2.
I fill both of them.
Yeah, because I can do that one, right?
As you all are filling up, taking a breather, getting some water as a little bit of respite, would everyone please make a perception check?
It's like, that's from the start of the campaign.
The very first session.
I'm gonna wait to hear what you guys say your perceptions were before I use it.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna use my advantage or my inspiration on mine because I rolled a 7.
We're like playing in the
You go
water.
for it. You go for it. I'll give you.
How do you do it? 15 is good enough to see something. Surprisingly, in the middle of the forest, where this slight divot in the terrain has clearly collected rainwater, surprisingly not, where standing water might kind of accumulate fungus and such, and be a little murky. This seems like fairly clearer than usual water. And as you're stooping down to fill up your water skin, you're able to see a small stick kind of jammed out, sticking out of the mud beneath the water, about 5, 10, 15 feet in. It's just like a wooden rod sticking straight out of the mud.
Not going anywhere near it.
Well, as of right this moment, I think Toby
Only
Ron
Toby sees it.
saw it.
I did roll was it 9? Not that that matters.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you mentioned that you rolled a 7, I think, but you didn't.
Oh,
roll
set. Okay, it was 5 plus 2, not 7 plus 2.
You just saw. I was just saying, like in general, for standing water in the middle of the ground, this is slightly more clear than you would have thought, where usually it would be murky and like dark and brown and maybe filled with fungi and algae at the top. This is just like fairly fresh water. And because of that fact and your proximity to it as you're filling up your water skin, you're able to see a wooden stick rod just sticking out of the mud underneath the water. Maybe the top of this rod is maybe submerged 2 feet from the level of the water. And it's 5, 10, 15 feet in.
Omen?
Okay. What are you praying?
God.
Okay. Doable. Very doable. Well, you all are able to get a drink and you're free to move on.
Ray, how much longer we got going for? Well, at this point, would we have known if we left the weird invisible barrier thing yet?
You had probably proceeded well past that. When you had entered that, it was
Right
not
before.
5 minutes proceeding further where you were able to get to the ruin. So yeah, Rhea will assure you that I think we've been traveling for roughly an hour. I imagine an hour or so, and we'll be well on our way. No discernible sensation leaving.
Is it only Toby that thinks this pond is weird or odd?
You all notice that it's maybe clear. Toby's the only one that noticed something of anything within the muddiness of it, I guess. You were all able to, I guess, see him kneel down. Sure.
Okay.
And you also know that it's very, very close to the broken twig path that you guys followed. So, you're able to clearly designate in your brain roughly how to give someone, directions to this place, etc.
Roulette, Jiri, you're the ones with the stones, right? Which one of you can skip further?
Probably me.
I'd say probably him. I don't have stones of my own. I've just been picking them up along the way.
What's
Jerry,
this?
Jiri, how many you got? Jiri, how many you have?
Oh, in my pocket, in my tabby.
And I pull out 3 of them.
All right,
One of them is glowing blue, and
I say, "Oh, did I ever show you guys this trick I know?"
start to juggle them.
Jiri, let's have a contest.
Okay.
Give me one of those stones and let's see who can skip the further.
Well, but not my blue one.
No, not your blue one. And I won't give you my smelly one. So just 2 common stones.
Okay.
And I put my blue one back suspiciously, and I give him one of the other ones.
I love that you both have pet rocks.
All right, I want to skip my rock as far as possible, trying to get it across the pond.
Make a strength check.
Rolled a 2.
What's your strength modifier?
I'm gonna use my advantage.
Your inspiration?
Yeah.
Okay.
What an important use, yeah.
17 plus 2, plus 3, 20.
Absolutely goes pretty far. Maybe it even like skips onto the other bank on the other side.
Nice. Sheesh. Jerry, if you get farther than that, I'll give you one of the gold I picked off that corpse yesterday.
All right. Watch this.
And I breathe onto my stone, fill it with some air, and I give it a chuck.
Some sort.
Because of the nature of that effect, go ahead and make an attack roll with the corresponding modifier. Ooh.
Devil.
Yeah, I'm gonna say just the nature of the magic carries it like smoother across the stone or across the surface of the water, but it just like skids to a halt just shy of the bank. So Telperian's strength did serve him well in this small contest.
Wow, Telperion, you've got some mighty strong arms there.
I'd flex, but I'm wearing armor, so you wouldn't be able to tell.
Huh, you're definitely the muscle of the crew.
I've heard that before. But no gold for you then.
Rats and curses. How am I going to pay Toby? Oh, wait. I've got some in my pack.
So okay. How much gold do you have?
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, I'll keep the corpse gold for myself then.
All right.
There's only a couple pieces.
I'll win it off you some other time. Maybe a juggling contest.
You might win.
Gentlemen, should we and Lady Rhea, should we be on our way?
Yeah.
Peony looks anxious to get back.
Speaking of which, we should probably get some beers when we get into town. Might be good.
I do think this is I won't jinx it by saying it, but I'm gonna jinx it. Mission accomplished once we get back. So I do agree. A bit of a celebratory meal or drink once we get back would be a good idea.
Toby Rama, as you say that, and maybe you've been distracted, and even Roulette would know this as well, but Toby just spends so much time with Gallus that you absolutely know this. You remember that today, the 23rd, Lordos, Saturday, Lordos, the 23rd of Hearthfire, is the Harvest Festival, the Heart of Hearthfire that they have every year. Last year, you barely missed this day. You had come first to For's Hollow a mere week or two after this festival. But today is the Heart of Hearthfire festival that likely the whole town is gearing up for right now.
Lowest temperature.
Let's get going. Come on, Peony.
Yes, you guys go collect your stones if you wish. Let's be on our way. Do Telperion and Jiri, either of them or anyone, go grab those 2 stones or no?
Yeah, Jerry's gonna get his stones back for sure.
Okay, as you go grab your stones, make a perception check.
Well, I was gonna pick up the one I threw to give it back to you.
Jerry telekinesis or
You
no?
are both then welcome to make a perception check.
19.
So Jiri
Ian.
starts to head over there with a 10, probably just like gestures for you to grab them maybe. But Telperion, as you bend down and grab them, something else catches your eye in the water. A crooked, gnarled piece of wood, seemingly like not of note, but a small glint of green catches your eyes embedded in it.
Oh, I'm ripping that out of the water with my mind.
Great sentence, and you are welcome to try to do that.
I try.
You find you reach out through this space and you're able to find purchase, but it seems to be lodged in this murky or the muddy ground firmly enough that your minimal weight capacity cannot lift it from its place.
I say, everyone, just a second, and I'll drop my pack, and then I'm gonna wade in the water to go pull it out with my arms.
You are absolutely welcome to do so. And as you get about 10 feet in, you're maybe at, in between knee height and waist height, so not terribly deep. You're able to grasp onto whatever this is.
I pull it out if I can.
Make a strength check.
Oh God, I used my advantage already.
Careful, Telperion, it's wet in there.
17 plus 3 is 20.
You're rolling some good strength checks.
One of those was with advantage, so
you are able to successfully pull it out of the mud. You could understand why your grip from afar was unable to lift it, but you, with your strength, you are absolutely able to do so. You wrench it free from its place, and you can see, and it's actually back a little bit. I don't even think I can, because I'm not on the right layer. So you're actually closer back to here. As I change this tokens layer, there is a broken half of a wooden shaft that looks like this. And notably, the glint of green that caught your eye, there seem to be two very small peridot gems, a bright green gem embedded in two eyes of this seemingly snake-figured shaft of wood. And it looks like it's very clearly broken halfway. Like at the bottom of it, it's fractured and the wood is frayed in a way that suggests it was broken.
does it look? I wonder myself if it looks like it used to be at full staff.
It does indicate that, yes.
I want to fish around in the water to see if I find the other half of it.
You're welcome to make an investigation check.
11 plus 4, 15.
Yeah, good roll. You are able to spot a previously seen by another member. You're able to spot a very small shaft of wood embedded in mud further over on this side. Whether you wade through the bulk of it, if you
I'm
were
trying to pull that one to me in case it's not lodged in.
same thing. It is able to find purchase, but you can't quite grab it out.
I'm
So
wading.
You're welcome to wade through the middle of it if you wish, although it does descend to a level where it's going to be like almost neck.
I go around.
Sure. I imagine that's what you want to do. So as you're able to get there, assuming I'm not going to make you roll another strength check, you are also able to wrench this wooden shaft from the mud.
Okay. So look, everyone.
Seemingly a very similar wooden make, seemingly same tree. It seems to be an alder tree, but to someone who is familiar with trees and such things, seems a staff made from alder wood.
It's alder and peridot. Alder tree. All the trees. I'll come out. I want to show everyone. Everyone, look what I found.
So then
That's not all the tree. That's a piece of a tree.
This is the other half of the staff, and it is like a faint bit of wasping, not quite smoke, but just like ethereal energy is just like very faintly wafting off this broken portion of the shaft.
I'll point to Roulette and Toby, and I'll say, you've mended something broken, and you've mended something broken. Can you mend this? And I'll hold the two broken pieces together.
I can certainly try as we continue our journey back.
So you cast the cantrip mending, and you can feel movement of the wood beneath your fist. But when you let go, it seems the wood has seemingly like tried to stitch together, but is not fully mended. But it is now functionally one object. So it is a staff and not two separate halves anymore. But it seemingly something went wrong in the fusion of those two pieces.
I can certainly take a look at it, but most of what I can do is what you already did. Any other magical stuff beyond that is, I'd say, a bit beyond what I can do. Might be some Gallus might know, or Joe Kell might be able to fix this. He's a smith himself. Usually works with metals, but wood might be something he can work with.
Look, and at this point, can we start walking and talk?
Absolutely, you're free to do so.
What kind of magic do you think comes out of it?
I wouldn't be able to tell. I'm not quite sure.
Jerry, what do you think? Do you like Stas?
Sure. Snakes are red, I suppose. They eat rats.
Yeah, rats.
You can tell Rhea is kind of eyeing it too, out of just like curiosity, and will speak up and say that my suspicion, being made of wood and representing the form of a beast, I imagine it has more of a natural magic connection, primordial magic. If that, I'm not very versed in those things, but for my own minor capabilities, I imagine that may be the case.
DM, quick question. How big is this thing?
Say 5 feet long, but very, very thin. It's a full length staff.
Okay, cool.
Can you believe we almost left this in the pond? What a
Wonder who left it.
That's what I was going for.
But yeah, you guys are able to proceed. And actually with your previous survival check, which is really the only check I am requiring, you guys are able to successfully make your way to, you get into the verdant woods. The space kind of opens up, sunlight kind of filters through the trees more easily. Terrain that Rhea very clearly indicates that is more comfortable and familiar to her. And you guys are quickly able to make your way back to awesome. Fantastic. But you are able to, the site of Boris's farm comes back into sight, and it has now been, you know, maybe quite a while, maybe 14, 16 hours or so from the last time you were here.
What a great sleepover. That was fun. We should do it again sometime.
Do you guys want to take a food break in like 10 minutes?
I'm happy to do that now. This is actually a great opportunity for a quick break.
Yeah, let's do that now.
Love it.
Good
Hey.
morning.
No. Oh, okay. That's good.
I also want to commend everyone on some fucking amazing role play in the ruins. So D&D Beyond is not good about tracking this, but everyone gets an additional point of inspiration for this.
Yeah, I didn't waste mine.
You guys killed it. I love it.
I was thinking about it and I was like, wow, Critter hasn't had to talk for like an hour. That's a really good sign.
You guys exceeded every expectation. Made my job very easy. Yeah, you guys absolutely killed it. So
Also, MK, I like the concept of like you rolling for your emotions or like your thoughts. Like, do I think he's dead? No, he's fine.
MK, I just have to say, I do also commend you for not mentioning the staff because it was eating me alive that you didn't. I was literally like talking myself off a ledge about it. Fair. Cool.
And then till period's like,
could have been.
yoink,
I'll take it.
Oh, yeah. Nature ain't too sacred.
boom.
All right. See you guys in a few minutes.
Awesome. Don't tell me what to do.
No, that was like an omega level yawn, actually. Get back.
Boy. Girl, you've outed yourself more than I have. She doesn't know.
Know what? Listen, I knew.
Try to play ignorant.
Ignorant. I don't care what you guys are. Kept me alive. Kept me alive. Killed some wolves.
Period didn't have trouble with that.
This chicken.
Yeah. You can't hold your movement.
I think holding spells.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that 5e doesn't do very well, is holding your turn. Or hold it just.
One of the things I don't is 3.5 edition had like more options for actions, so you could like push people and like try to trip people and stuff like that without like having to be like a specific class. Like a lot of like the like the Battle Master fighter, like they have like a bunch of maneuvers. A lot of those you could just do, like anybody could do them. So like more opportunities to do things that maybe you would like hold your action for.
My phone browser showed me a Kotaku article and it tried to recommend it for like 5e is not fun. Why do so many people play it? And I was like, I'm not reading this article. I don't care. I don't believe in it.
I've definitely gotten better at that, mostly because of the sequel trilogy in Star Wars. Like, it's literally what trained me. Because I'm like, I don't care. I'm enjoying it. I don't give a shit if people hate it. Like, let me have fun, you know?
Okay, I'm scooping my food and then I can start.
That's okay, no rush.
I want to get you some fight.
This is not spoilery or pulling back too much of the curtains at all to say that your path back through the forest could have gone different ways.
Ooh. Also, MK, that's Jiri's theme song.
If I was green, I would die.
Yep.
What do you think of it?
Oh, and oh yeah. Judy, if someone next to you that's 174 and looks like they're 25.
All right, I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, as you guys approach the farmstead, even from this side of things where you can see the barn comes into view, and you can see the fence, which has been roughly repaired, which it was over toward this side where the Dark Dryad had seemingly bust through in its assault of this place. You can clearly see that there are sheep back out and about. So seemingly things are back to normal-ish this morning. And you can see Boris kind of loading and unloading bales of hay. And he's actually mid-conversation with Gallus over at the farm right now.
Oi!
Hey, there they are. I knew they'd be back.
Wait, isn't that Roulette's thing?
What? Oh, yeah.
I can do the roulette. Roulette can do the thing. I can't really do that.
Yeah, that was specifically in your spreadsheet of talents. Yeah. But Gallus will pat Boris on the back and let him continue kind of his work real quick. And Boris very quickly shuffles inside. And Gallus comes out to greet you guys. I knew you guys would be back. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried that I sent four travelers. Toby Rama, I knew you'd be fine. Roulette, I've heard great things from Jokel, but sending off our two newbies into the forest overnight had me a little on edge. But with you guys with Rhea, I wasn't worried. Um, he is, and it looks like you've brought the horse. Well done. He'll be elated. And-
One horse, no chickens, unfortunately.
Understood. I kind of figured the horse was the prized possession anyway, so you guys did well. Let me let him know you're coming. And I think he already saw you though. And as he says that, Boris kind of runs out of the barn, says, "Come on over this way." And he runs westward slightly to where his kind of more residential abode is. And you're welcome to kind of proceed towards that location. And as you proceed over there, he, having just disappeared into his house not 30 seconds ago, bursts out of the front doors and comes sprinting up to you guys and just throws his arms around Toby, throws his arms around Roulette, shakes Jiri and Telperion with vigor and gratitude, and then just gives just such an intimate hug with Peony, the prized horse, his late wife's favorite livestock that they had, more of a pet than really functionally a part of the work farm. She was, and you were actually at her bedside when she passed. It was old age and illness took her very peacefully. It was actually a beautiful moment, but Boris has definitely been very, very heartbroken for a long time. You have no idea how grateful I am that you guys were able to bring back Peony. This really means the world to me. I honestly didn't expect you guys would really do it and that she's unharmed. How was she? Like what stole her from me?
Some wool.
Well, that's incredible. Is it? And honestly, it is sad about the other livestock, but Peony is my absolute priority. Thank you so much. Is whatever did that? Is it a threat to the town in any way, or okay?
Short term, I think we're in the clear. Whatever, it was some sort of tree spirit that some emerald tree down further south that got burned. Some errant dryad thing seemed to take possession of some of the animals, not just Peony, but some wolves, likely the mule and the pigs and the chickens as well. But that specific errant force has been taken care of. I'm not saying, and this is more to Gallus, if is Gallus there? I'm assuming Gallus.
Gallus is absolutely right next to you, and even mid-sentence while you're talking, Boris pulls you into another hug, just so grateful for your aid, and he hasn't really gotten a chance to get to know you very well with your minimal time here so far in town.
I'm talking over Boris's shoulder to
Yeah.
Gallus as Boris is hugging me. Gallus, I think we might need to have a bit more of a conversation about general threats to Force Hollow as related to the Emerald Forest, but we can talk about that more once we get back in town.
Gallus kind of sighs and looks down and is like, I'm ready to have that conversation more and more every day. But yes, let's, and Boris kind of cuts him off and says, here, Gallus, take this. This is what I ran inside for. And presses a small leather pouch into Gallus's chest that Gallus, clasps. And he's like, just actually let me be right back. Peony, don't go anywhere. And he runs again back into the house, and Gallus kind of, allows him to do so, and kind of rustles the leather purse, and very clearly a couple of coins rattling around in that
50
purse.
platinums.
And he's like, Boris is not gonna take well to us rejecting this offer. We need to be hospitable in our acceptance of this. This is for you guys. You did all the hard work. Please split it up accordingly, however you wish, but this is your hard earnings.
Hospitality, the Elvish way.
I'm very much glad the same. Looks like he's coming back. And Boris runs back out down the wooden steps of his front porch, runs up to Roulette specifically, and grabs your hand and just slips a very small, seemingly leather feeling satchel in there, way smaller than the purse that he just handed Gallus. He's like, thank you so much. You couldn't even understand. Toby just mentioned that you need a physical memento, and this would have been mine, but you brought Peony back to me, and that's all I could ever ask for. This was Betsy's, and I hope you care for it well. And it gives you one more hug, shakes Gallus's hand firmly, takes the reins of Peony and starts leading her back to the barn.
What is it?
I don't look at whatever he handed me. I put it in a pocket and
Sure.
turn to Gallus to start making her way back.
Topirian's checking it, seeing if she's gonna open it up.
No, I put it away and I start walking back.
All right. Well, I'm sure you guys, looks like you were able to make your way overnight, and I'm sure you, were able to find somewhere to rest, but let's get you guys back to camp and let you settle back in. But in Roulette, truly, I'm ready to have that conversation. We should all have it as mercenary wide company, and potentially with the matriarchs as well, what we should do looking to the future to how to protect the people of this town. But for now, let's celebrate your triumph overnight, and let's get ready to gear up for the Harvest Festival. The Heart of Hearth fires tonight, baby. And it starts to kind of, walk away, start heading back to Nora camp. Do you follow, I guess?
Let's go. Moby?
Well, you're. No, you don't noticeably see him anywhere near the.
Oh, that's actually.
Yeah. You got a pretty high passive perception, so you asking those questions is always very fair game. But no sign of him in this immediate vicinity. But you guys are able to walk the 5 or 10 minute walk back to Nora camp. Good job, guys. I know for a fact that made Boris's life better. Frankly, him losing Betsy I think it really was as peaceful as it could have been, but he has been heartbroken, rightfully so, ever since. They had been married for 60 some years. It's been a while. You did the world for that man. He'll be all right, I think.
Wait, so this guy replaced his wife with a horse?
No,
I was wondering the exact same thing.
no, Peony was Betsy's essentially favored pet. It meant a lot to her. And I think when she passed, Boris, out of respect and honoring her, really took care to care for Peony the right way, made sure she was well taken care of on Betsy's behalf. So to him, it maybe was an extension of Betsy in a way that he was trying to keep alive her memory by honoring that pet. But yes.
I thought we were going to be able to keep the horse. That would have been cool.
Well, we'll have to, we've got many farmers that all have some livestock in that regard. So if we're ever traveling, like I've traveled to Ostennis, the capital, in the past, and I've absolutely borrowed our town's horses. So yes, you are in the very eastern corner of Croatia, and Ostennis, Toby Rama, you would know this, is in the very western corner of Croatia.
Wait, I've got an important DM question then. Are there like the different nationalities? Because you went through, I think, a bunch of them, like creation, like are there Durnistmen or whatever, the Valadonian? What are like the humans look like, and how do they compare to each other, if you know?
That's a great question. And I will say, in general, I haven't built this world in a way where different nationalities of human are differentiated from each other outside of culture. So no physical appearance. Human in Durast is similar to a human in Belladonia. Cultural traditions are widely different, but no clear distinctions of interracial differences other than, skin tones and stuff like that. But it is not such that you can identify a human as clearly from Durast versus from Croatia versus from Belladonia at first glance. But the 5 major nations again are Durast, Croatia, Belladonia, Chimeris, which is like the southern half of the continent pretty much. It's just wildlands, and Valara, which like no one goes there. It's like the frigid northeast of the continent.
New Jersey.
Sure. I'm gonna build some New Jersey accent NPCs there someday. But you guys are able to get back successfully to Nora Camp, and once again, similarly to kind of how you left it, not many people are there, because even on your journey there, you could kind of see off in the distance out toward the town square, there's lots of people out there. As Toby Rama knows, and maybe Roulette has briefly heard, visitors from out of town come for this harvest festival every year, and it is a fairly significant holiday event for this small town. And people set up carts and stands and tents and do different forms of entertainment and goods selling and just bartering and prize winning and stuff like that. There's a famous corn maze race. There's tarot card readings. There's all sorts of fun stuff at the Heart of Hearthfire Festival every year. He's skewing Southern again. But yeah, you guys arrive at Nora Camp, and like I said, like it's fairly vacant. Like Gemariza, the dwarven cook chef is still clearly in the mess hall, kind of like assembling trays and stuff to bring to the town center later. But everyone's kind of like gearing up and doing odd jobs throughout this town, gearing up for tonight. Well, it's really an all afternoon and evening event. But you guys are able to explore the camp and, resupply at your rooms or set stuff down or take a rest if you would like, whatever you want to do.
Well, Perry, would you mind if I have that brand new fancy wet and maybe muck covered staff of yours? Would you mind if I took a look at that? If I think I might spend some time with it, I might be able to figure out at least a little bit of what it does. I'm not sure I can fix it, but I wonder if I could at least take a look at it.
I prefer it. Here, I can't do that much with it.
Yoink. And at some point, I guess as soon as we get back, I was like, oh, why don't we head back to our rooms, take a bit of a short rest, and we can meet back for lunch or something, and we can check out the Harvest Festival. Meet up with Gallus and do a bit of a post mission recap. Uh,
Yeah, where are we? Do we have rooms in the Nor camp?
Yeah, you were last time when you guys were here, Gallus had shown you, both you, Jiri, and Telperion, 2 different rooms, and you guys were able to set anything down that you wanted. And if you recall, the others kind of met Gallus at one point in the mess hall, and you kind of lingered in your room for a moment. So yeah, you guys have rooms that you're now relatively familiar with.
Bring it to me, Toby.
And I'll grab it and I'll be like,
Wait a minute. Why is this so light? Did you lose something? It is far too light. Something must be missing.
Jir will start like digging through his pack,
Sure. What are you looking
around. I'm looking for my bottle of air.
You rifle around, and there is no such item there.
Toby, did you lose my bottle of air? I don't know. Maybe we should look for Moby and see if he knows anything about it. Are you sure it was this weight when you picked it up? This is bad news. No, it was about yay big.
oh,
Why did you have air bottled?
It's special air, not just air, any air. Air from Orin. Orin air.
is that the name of the? That's your name for the elemental plane of air, isn't that right?
Yes. Yes, Jolland is in Orin. Well, if we can, we should find Moby and question him. Let's just leave the pack in my room, and if we see him, we can send them to come get it later.
You are. Yep, definitely true. Do the rest of you want to go to your rooms and relieve yourself of adventurers, supplies, stuff like that?
Yeah.
And remind us what that idol looks like.
Oh,
As you do that and as you look at that, you just have this momentary memory pop into your head of being in a dark space with silvery mist popping around, and you hear the words. This is subconscious. You're not physically hearing these words, so you're remembering the phrase Balin Springer.
I'm gonna go to my room and I'm gonna leave my glaive. I'll leave my backpack. I'll keep my golds on me, and I'll keep my leaf on me, and I'll leave my crescent blades, but I'll bring my great sword.
Okay. And noticing some of the people off in the distance as you made your way to Norcam, you see that this is a harsh world. People are adventurers, and people coming in from out of towns is like very exciting, but it's very acceptable and expected that people may have a weapon on them perusing through the streets of this festival and market. So you absolutely realize that that's probably acceptable in this space.
I will return to my room. I will place the big old staff that I got from Telperion onto my bed. And then I will slowly and methodically take out seemingly identical tools. Basically, like they look like spoons, but each one of them has a different set of runes on the end of it. And over the next 11 minutes, I will ritually cast Identify on the staff, seeing if I can tell how these, and the way that I do it is each one of these spoon runes, or rune spoons, I didn't mean for that to happen. Each one of these rune spoons will react differently to different parts of it, and that's how I kind of cast Identify.
Awesome. As you do this, you start to just like, as you poke and prod and examine, little pulses and such kind of fill your mind and almost subconsciously guide you to what you think, the enchantment on this is. Is it abjuration-based magic? Is it enchantment-based magic, etc.? And over the course of casting the spell, you were able to discern that this is a broken but repairable object that had magical, as Rhea suggested, primordial magic rather than arcane or divine. This is slightly more primordial and natural magic that was contained in the staff. And it functions as and you can add this to your inventory, a staff of the Python, which will...
It's busted?
Well, it is busted currently, but pursuing repair is absolutely possible. And you note that, okay, so like we could physically knit together the wood a little bit, but the enchantment can't be remade unless it's like professionally repaired or to some extra degree of care given to its repair. He does not.
Does he know what a staff of the Python does?
Yeah, so it informs Roulette that what it does is it will animate into a live, large constrictor snake. It will grow in size and animate as a commandable ally, is what the enchantment did at one time. Who's to say if it can be repaired in the same and re-achieve that same enchantment or not?
Roulette's a little grossed out by it. I will wrap it up in any sort of spare blanket, and I'll leave it in my room for now, and I'll share that information with Telperion. But Telperion, so that staff you have, it's definitely magical. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work right now. That cleave that seems to have sheared it in two seems to have broken whatever enchantment's on it. It could be repaired. I'll check with Joe Kill. He's more of a metal man himself, but we might be able to get it fixed. Could basically turn into a little snake friend if we can get it fixed.
Also of note, when you were examining it, the peridot bright green gems affixed embedded in its eyes of the snake form are valuable. And I would say you could discern that they were each 25 gold worth, so a total of 50, but you also recognize that the nature of this magical item, it is largely presents more value than the sum of its parts.
I take mental note of that, and I specifically leave the thing in my room hidden somewhere,
Sure.
like under a bed or something.
Well, it sounds like it'd be worth repairing. It sounds rather handy indeed.
It does. Again, we'd have to find someone to do it, so might be able to check with Gallus or someone else in town. But I think short term, this festival sounds like what we need to do to relax.
I agree. Shall we head out?
You are welcome to do so, and this is not a prod in any way. Does roulette check out what Boris had slipped into her hand or not? I'm not trying to force.
Oh, at some point, yes, yeah. So at some point while I was, because while I'm doing the identify, I definitely would have been doors shut and would have checked what was in my pack.
So let me bring us to the next screen just to kind of set the mood for the following chunk of time. This is, your minis are not on here. It's not a, you know, a gridded explorable map, but just to set the vibe for interspersed buildings and structures and tents and markets set up around the town center. And you are, as you're still in your room identifying, this is what the item looks like. You unfold, you are able to tell it's a black leather, very small, almost like a pencil shaver case size, like very small dark leather satchel with a very simple latch. And when you unlatch that and slide out what is inside, this is what you see.
I thought you were physically about to hold up something, and I was like, what the fuck?
It is a beautiful gold, clearly made for a woman, and clearly like custom made. It is a beautiful gold ring with feather like filigree adornments and a beautiful blue sapphire in the middle of it. And you can add, which is a custom item that I've created in D&D Beyond. Shout out Griffin Saddlebag for the amazing item. A ring of healer's heroism.
Does the inscription say thank you?
In the picture it does. I don't know that in the world it would, but that is what the picture shows, yes. But
what was in that leather pouch he gave you?
I don't know.
So in addition to getting this ring, again, through this spell Identify, which you can add it to your inventory, you should be able to find either it's called Healer's Heroism or Ring of Healer's Heroism. Should be
it's called the Ring of Healer's Heroism, and I have it.
So you can add that to your list, and what it does is, should you restore any other creature in any way, you are imbued with heroism and are bolstered with temporary hit points and are immune to being frightened for the next turn. So it is, you know, is those who care for others are imbued with vitality and confidence themselves.
Tilperion, it's actually quite a beautiful piece of jewelry that I think very likely belonged to Boris's wife, Betsy. With Betsy, I think it was. Boris's wife, Betsy. To be truthful, I'm thinking about returning it because it seems almost too valuable to keep. But I might try and track down Boris during the festival and talk to him about it. But it's quite a beautiful ring that I think belonged to his wife Betsy.
Well, if I can tell you one thing that I've heard about humans is that if they give you a gift, it's because they want to give it to you.
Which I very much agree with. I do think I will hold on to it. He did seem like he wanted to give it as a true mark of his thanks for returning the horse, which seemed to be more valuable to him than anything else in the world.
I've heard you can send a thank you card.
I could certainly do that.
It is rather beautiful.
Oh, as a note, at some point, I like last night or this morning, I would have finished writing a letter to my parents. And I'll find someone to hand that off to be like, hey,
yep.
And I'll mark off. I'm assuming it'll cost me money to like send this back to Belladonia.
It probably will. And you also know that the courier system, which does exist in Forest Hollow because of the town's size, they leave like once a month to go deliver and stuff. So like it's not an expedient process, but you absolutely know where that building is. So
I know that it'll probably be like 3 letters at once that I end up sending, but I'll track down Gallus, wherever it is, and I will say, here's 5 copper.
Yeah, that's absolutely adequate.
Here's 5 copper. Storm's Edge, the Tinkerton store in Belladonia.
You're able to give that to Gallus, and he will, oh shit, I should have given you guys this back. And he'll also hand you guys the leather purse that Boris had handed you as well, which contains 45.
He hands it to me.
He'll hand, if you're next to Telperion in this moment, he'll hand it to this one to Telperion. But this contains 45 gold,
What?
80 silver, and 142 copper. Well, if you also recall, he had mentioned that his harvest had just completed, and he doesn't keep corn on his property, but all his wheat, barley, and rye sold very well this year. And he just actually cleaned up. So he suggested, and I believe mentioned, that he was not distraught over the loss of the livestock because he was in a fairly financially stable position. He was more for sentimentality, looking for Peony's rescue.
What was the numbers? 45.
45 gold, 80 silver, and 142 copper.
Okay. I'll say 142 copper for me, 80 silver for you, and then we'll split up the gold in a bit. I guess 5 ways for Rhea. What's 45
You
divided
just
by?
gave me 80 silver.
Yeah.
Ray is not going to take your gold. Just warning you. You can try. She won't take it.
45 divided by 4.
10 apiece, about 11 apiece.
And then
You can keep the extra.
12 for me and 11 for the rest of you. And I go and I slip 11 gold under Jiri and Toby's door, one piece at a time.
I don't know how Jiri responds to that, but I feel like Toby kind of like glances away from his prayer and he's like, what the hell?
Jiri will go to the door and see who's there.
Oh, it's me, Telperion. Here's your gold.
What's this from?
The farmer?
Oh,
As
Well.
a reward for finding the horse.
more we can spend on a chef then. Or at the fair tonight.
Both sound great. What do you buy at a fair? Actually, you know what? Never mind. I want to find out when we're there.
I don't even know. I've never been before.
Neither have I. Shall we go to the fair then?
Telperion, can I ask you a private question real quick?
Yes.
Toby and I are off to the fair. Oh, I'm off to the fair.
The nerd is praying.
The nerd.
Well, we haven't left yet. I've just slipped 11 gold under your door. Oh, and I get myself some copper. Plus 14 is 136. No, that's not 156.
Clip that.
For
Clip
Telperion,
that.
yeah, doing math in common is hard.
Oh, fucking common. I mean, Yuri, what's the question? Yuri, what's your question?
And he Jiri also speaks primordial, and so this is probably the first time you've heard him speak it. And so he says to you in primordial, specifically the dialect of Orin. So I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but he says,
It's nice to be able to speak somebody in my native tongue. But I've also heard you can speak Elvish. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can speak primordial and Elvish.
Really
You know a lot about elves.
Really quickly before the conversation continues, I just want to establish Telperion. I don't think we've established what dialect of primordial you speak. Do you
Not to
speak?
pick one.
You do have to pick one, but primordial language can be communicated across different dialects. But it's like different dialects of English, like Cockney versus like more nobility versus like they're.
Honestly, I would pick air because
Okay.
air's most Telperion of
So
all.
the way you understand his primordial is very natural to the way you know it.
Yes, I know quite a lot about Elvish, Jerry.
Now, elves have a lot of artifacts that are very powerful. Is that correct?
Correct?
could you teach me Elvish?
Yes, I could.
Excellent. Don't tell the others, though. I wouldn't want them to think I didn't know how to speak Elvish.
No vayer means farewell.
What does that mean?
Farewell.
Oh, you're leaving now?
No vayer. Oh, your first word in Elvish. No vayer.
Oh, thank you. No vayer.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'll be a slow learner, but I'll get it eventually. But we don't need to practice now. Maybe some other time when nobody's around.
Perfect. I want to go knock on the door so we can go to the fair. So I go and knock on Toby's door. Show the Genasi and the elf how to go to a human fair.
She's just wandering.
We catch up.
Yeah, you are able to make your way down to the town square. And again, this picture that we're on is kind of representing, you know, an evening type atmosphere, but you're able to get there at, I would say, roughly noon or even before noon. But the festival is in full swing. People are engaging in, you know, think Wisconsin's market. That was amazing. That's
Day
like
drinking,
The
day
state-
drinking.
The farmer's market.
People are absolutely drinking different, you know, self-made concoctions prepared in like kegs brought from the bowl. Caskets of ale and stuff have been carted from Bullwinkle's pub, the pub in town. Everyone's day drinking, having a good time, eating various things, bartering, paying for goods and stuff. Notably, something extra that's like an extra air of beauty in this space is lanterns are strung between many of the buildings with different colored glass with candles set in them. That's just like beautiful colors, or even in the middle of the day. And you can only imagine what this looks like at night. Even in the day, like just the space is like, wow, this little town can really achieve a fun party, essentially. You also see, well, to Jiri and Telperion, most of these faces look unfamiliar, but even to Toby and even Roulette to a degree, there are multiple faces here that you don't recognize from in town. Not to say that enormous amounts of outsiders come in for this festival, but some of the nearby towns, like perhaps people from Elandris or other small settlements, may come and, you know, engage in the festivities for the day. So the measly population of 82 or so people is probably up to a whopping 150 right now. So
There are many non-humans.
There's a line for the toilets.
There's a lot of non-humans. There's a few half elves. You see several of the Nora mercenaries that you're familiar with. Rebecca the wood elf, and Gemariza is now down here handing out food to different people for free, and she's dwarven. You see Joe Kell manning a small section where people are doing a hammer hitting contest that is swinging a lever and trying to hit a bell. There's all sorts of festivities going here. So you all are all free to peruse and have fun. What seeks your...
Drink time.
Yeah, you are all able to. There's very clearly a stand over to the side where a half elven gentleman, seemingly from out of town, is peddling his own self-brewed ales. Has a large couple caskets behind him, and he is handing out mugs and has a healthy jar of coinage in front of him.
A male beer wench? Love it. Roulette will grab a drink and is making a beeline for wherever Joe Kell is.
Awesome. Beer, 2 copper for the beer,
Fun.
for the ale rather. And you're absolutely able to make your way over to Jekyll. Also, just a note in general for this next section of content, there's a lot of different types of festivities going on. And I know like I could either sit here and describe it for 5 minutes, or you guys could ask about it, but you don't necessarily know what all to ask about. We can kind of combine everything into food, entertainment, or competition. So if you're interested in one of those things, start asking and I'll start giving you options essentially.
I'm going right to Jokel first. I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna go.
Hey, Red, good to see you. Heard you helped out Boris already, just 2 weeks in, and you're already a true townsfolk. I appreciate it.
Jokel, when I tell you it's been an eventful day, night, and travel back. We I can't even describe to you the thing we fought, but so I had a quick question for you. I know those big old arms of yours are good at smithing metal and kind of repairing dings and armor and weapons and whatnot. But do you ever dabble in the arcane at all?
I can't say I do. I swing a mean hammer, but that's about it. Why? Why do you ask?
I've got a bit of a broken instrument, you might call it. It's a staff that should do something magical, but at the moment does not because it was a bit broken in two. I was wondering if I sounds like you might not know, but you might. Any chance you know of anyone in town?
Well, not that there are many arcanely gifted people in town, but I imagine Ira. I don't know that you've met Ira Middletop yet. Small gnome fella, really kind. He's probably the most learned one of that kind of sort here in town. But I don't think I've seen him out here in the festival yet. But I'm sure he'll be down here if you want to catch his eye. I'll keep an eye out and let you know if I see him.
I'll track him down. I could ask Gallus. Gallus knows whereabouts of most people in town are.
Yeah.
But speaking of swinging hammer, what's this thing you got behind you?
All right, so
I'm there too. I bought the same ale you did because I wanted a really human drink and I wanted to go to the competition.
Oh, are you from out of town, fellow elf?
Is he an elf?
No, he's a Goliath.
Elf. Okay, it's pronounced elf fellow.
Mr. Elf.
Yeah, Mr. Elf. That's totally what he would say.
Yes, I'm from the Emerin.
Oh, damn. That place is dangerous. I try not to get involved with that. Even Rhea has her work cut out for her with that place. But welcome. This is Forest Hollow. This is Roulette right here. She's my apprentice. If you guys are stepping up to try the hammer swinging contest, you're welcome to do so. Really, you can step right up. Here's the sledgehammer. Give her a whack, and the highest you can go is well, it'll hit the bell. Otherwise, you can win various amounts of prizes, and if you want to gamble a little bit, you can throw in some money and maybe make a little bit of a winnings out of it. Kind of fair game. What are you thinking?
I just take the hammers. Jokel, let me just see. Let me see what happens here.
Easy, Red. I can't have you trying the merchandise before you commit to some kind of prize scenario.
I'm not in a gambling mood right now, Mr. Jokel, but I will see if I can swing this and just to test out the functionality of this device you got going here.
All right, for that level of commitment, just so you know, if you hit the bell, you'll win a piece of blackberry pie. Just a single slice. You won't take home the whole pie, but
Do I owe you anything for my paycheck in advance of me swinging this thing?
Give me a copper and we'll call it good.
Deal.
I'll take it out of your next pay. Don't worry about it.
I'll give him a copper.
Topirian has a little notebook. He goes, paycheck.
I will swing it.
Make a strength check.
I'm gonna make a strength check. As I'm swinging it, Telperion, probably along with Jokel and anyone else who's paying attention, will see certain runes on my armor start glowing to assist me with this. So I don't know. I don't know how to do this, but it's gonna be
So what happens as these runes glow? I imagine the wiring is activating in some way.
correct. Yes. So like you'll see as if it were like the tendons in my arms as I go to swing, it'll like help my body like convulse faster. So I'm gonna for the players knowledge, I am expending a charge in my now enchanted armor to add my intelligence modifier to my strength check. I'm basically, and I'm just sharing this in the link here. I'm basically like using my brains to help with my strength. So I'm rolling this. Oh no, I'm rolling this, but it's this number plus 3.
Okay.
So 19.
Woo! Hits the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Oh shit, Red, my own apprentice, making me so proud. Well done. Let me take that from you, and here. And he goes off to the side and kind of a table with a couple of pies on it. And he'll cut you out a small slice of blackberry pie and slides it your way. Hands it to you.
I take it. Joe Kill, honestly, I couldn't hit that bell if it wasn't for the fine craftsmanship in that hammer you handed to me. So
I noticed that something's going on there other than just metalwork. I might have to have a conversation with you about that.
it's a beautiful hammer, and I hand it back to him, and I walk away with my pie.
You're not gonna
As you kind of step back, he goes, "It is well made, isn't it?"
say, Roulette, you're not gonna stay and watch me try.
Oh no, I'm just stepping back to enjoy my pie, and I am digging into the pie.
I hand him 10 gold.
Oh shit, we could probably you could just buy this whole shelf of pies if you want, but
Oh no, I meant that as a bet for my hit.
He kind of examines you for a little bit. He's like,
But till period, Joe Kill doesn't really run in the more expansive circles of Forest Hollow here. You might want to.
"That's all right, Red. I'll try to put together some odds for this. Taller than Roulette, a little more well built, but
From out of town.
Roulette's extra creative with her swing. I'll call it a wash. I'll give you plus 100 odds. So what you bet, you'll make back. Might have to dig around in our reserves to fund that, but let's see what you got.
So I'm betting to get my 10 gold back.
You double it.
You get
Double,
20,
okay.
20.
If you bet 10, you're gonna get.
Was that math that he just did?
Clip it.
That wasn't bet. That wasn't math. That was like betting knowledge, right? Yeah.
I got really into Bovada sports betting last year, so we'll get into that later.
All right. So I pick up the hammer. And I'm gonna
Roll a
go
strength
for
check.
it. I did roll a 10 plus 3, so 13. But I am going to use my inspiration on it just to see if I could do better.
Burning through these instances.
I don't get it. Yeah, we're not going to count that.
Use them. Yeah.
18
Use
plus
them.
3 is 21.
Ding, ding, ding. Holy shit! 2 for 2. Roulette, you gotta be friends with this one. You guys are a pair, man.
Already am.
Holy moly. Well, you got a good eye on who you're tracking down as a friend. Well done. Let me be right back. He runs over to another stall and it seems they have some collective pot going, and he kind of rustles through some of the stuff, acquires 10 gold, and gives it back to you along with your original 10 gold. So you
just bankrupted this man.
Ask him for a piece of pie for me.
I give him a couple silver and I say, "Can I have 2 pieces of pie?"
Absolutely, friend. And you got your gold, so you can add 10 gold to your inventory.
Yeah.
And he will cut you off 2 more pieces of pie and happily accept your silver.
All right, I'll cut 3 silver, so I'm done at 24.
And then you probably just hear ringing in the background. Oh, that's all right. I came from Elandris. great little town. It's honestly it's similar to Forest Hollow in its size, and it's kind of, I would say, like in a good way, kind of overlooked by the government and stuff. People don't really bother give us too much trouble there. So oh, we can't miss the Harvest Festival. Ding 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 ding. Yeah, yeah, head over to your friends. Here's an ale. The one you almost left that, but take that with you, and thank you for your patronage.
It's a bit of a test of brawn over here. It's a you take this finely crafted hammer from Mr. Joe Kill and you hit that thing, see how high you can hit the other thing.
Usually people kind of offer what they want. I'd say at the minimum, I'd take 2 copper for a swing. But if you want to bet, you can absolutely feel free to bet, and potentially, depending on how I evaluate you, might get some of your earnings back plus some. He kind of nudges Roulette, and he's like, "This is why I love the Heart of Hearthfire. People are giving out way more than they need to."
People, liquid.
Well, go for it. Take a swing, Toby Rama. It's a two-handed hammer. I'm going to consider it a martial weapon, both of which Roulette and Telperion could successfully use. You do not have proficiency with this. So, but it's just a strength check. So let's say you're going to make your strength check at disadvantage.
Oh, he doesn't. Yes. Like you choke up on it and do this. Wow.
And you lifting, like it takes your whole body to keep this thing, but it with the force, the weight of it alone does help you get almost halfway up the bar, but definitely not enough to earn money back or earn you a slice of pie. Sorry. Yeah, 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 yeah. -1 strength mod for. That's all right. Feel free to shop around. There's plenty of ways to get prizes. Thanks for your patronage, guys.
Thank you for your patronage.
Is Jiri nearby?
Yeah, Jury wanted some pie, so he definitely hung out and bummed some pie off of the crew.
I gave you my second slice because I got 2.
Thank you, Telperion. I appreciate it. I knew you had the muscles to ring that bell.
I do.
But he's more interested in entertainment for sure. Like he's like got an eye for it. He's really itching to hear a play or some songs or anything like that. But specifically, if he could pick, he's looking for a singer or a minstrel, somebody that writes and sings songs.
So asking around, someone does direct you over to a very small platform stage where there is a man singing currently. Let me
I'm gonna follow Jerry for this too.
Okay.
I'm chatting with Joe Kill.
So here. So notably, there's this very small stage platform lifted maybe a foot off the ground, just built from simple wood, next to a very much more elaborate purple drapery tent. And there's a small, frail human woman sitting there in just a darkened space with a couple candles lit. The curtains are kind of pulled around to keep that space dark, but what is catching Jiri's eye more is certainly Marconi, the half-elven bard singing on the platform right in front of you. He is currently engaged in a song. It's actually a sea shanty. Shout out Critical Role. And he's singing, and the crowd is singing along with him, and they're all singing, "Upon a sea that's tossed in gray, we fight to keep the dreams at bay. For in our sleep we hope for peace, lest the nightmares have their way. Ukatoa, Ukatoa, keep him locked away." And then he goes into another verse. "A haunted fog comes rolling through, the sea begins to toss and strew. With cutlass and cannon we make a stand, though little might it do. Ukatoa, Ukatoa, keep him locked away." The whole crowd's getting into it, but he's just leading this whole crowd, like the presence of this guy. And just like, yeah, I mean, he's absolutely singing and commanding an audience, and you are welcome to enjoy the entertainment.
Oh yeah, Jiri is super into it, and he says,
Telperium, come. Let's get to the front if we can.
and he's gonna sing and clap along as best he can.
You guys are able to push your way.
I go with him.
And of note, some people are tossing coins onto the stage. No like collection pile, just like loose coins are flickering up on the stage occasionally.
I have 156 copper, so I'll throw in like 10 copper.
Okay, you can absolutely do so.
For all of it.
And Jiri obviously will say,
Oh, Telperion, let me see some of those. I want to throw them.
I give him 10 copper to throw.
Thanks.
and I'm gonna like toss them and have like an amazing time.
I thought you were gonna like launch them, like try and wound them.
No, nothing like that. Jiri is acting like he's 5 years old, kind of, at a party basically. But he says to Telperion,
After this song, we should ask him if he'd write a song about us and our adventures. He can call it Jiri and his jocular crew. What do you think? Let's go tell him our tale.
Well, when he walks off stage, let's do it then. How about that?
Okay.
I'll go with you for sure.
I brought the gold that you gave me. Maybe we could pay him with it.
What gold?
The gold you gave me.
Oh yes, under your door. Good. If is that what you would want to spend your gold on, we might not see him again.
Right. We'll have to ask him how much he charges.
That's a good question.
So the kind of chorus and the people chanting, it's almost even hard to hear each other over your conversation, over the cries of the crowd. And just a final chorus stanza completes, and then everyone kind of claps. And it was very engaging for the crowd. It was a well-known sea shanty that they were able to participate in. And so then they all cheer, and Marconi, the half-elven bard, starts collecting his coinage and kind of scoops it into a hand, puts it in a quick stack, and then exits the stage.
I'll go with Jiri.
and Jiri is going to approach him, and in pretty good Elven is gonna say, "Hello there, friend."
Or hello there, friend.
Oh,
My compatriot and I have a question for you. You have
yes,
a moment. We're great
Did
fans.
you enjoy it?
What?
Did you come for the show? Did you enjoy it? How was that last song?
It was fantastic. We've got a proposition for you, though. We're big fans.
Oh, thank you very much. You both are quite illustrious looking individuals. I should write a song about you, the Blue Man and his elven friend.
Yeah. Well, that's what we came for. My name's Jiri, Jarl Jolland.
Jajiri, the Jarl of Jarland. I can already see the ballad being sung. Might have to pick out a few verses. Do you care to tell me a bit about your tale?
Oh, Telperion, come on, let's tell them about us.
Right. In Elvish, then. All of this conversation in Elvish.
And what?
And I switch back to Primordial with you.
Nothing. You speak Elvish then already.
Yeah, you taught me.
I taught you one word.
Huh? Well, you must be a really good teacher.
I literally say under my mouth, what the fuck is going on with this? These people, their languages. Tell him about killing a dryad, a burnt dryad. Tell him about your final blow.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's tell them about the whole crew. So there's me, Jajiri, the leader, right? Of course.
Yes.
And then we've got
Jarland. Yes.
yeah, Jarl Jarland, highest, right? Because I'm noble. And then second in command here is Telperion. He's pretty noble as well.
Oh,
Of the Emerin.
what a crew we have already in front of us.
That's just the start. Then there's Rowlett and Toby Rama. Don't forget about him.
Firehead, the fire-haired engineer.
We've got a pet horse. What was the
Peony.
horse's name again?
Peony.
Peony. And Toby Rama rides on Peony. And they're good friends. I think he speaks horse or something like that. He learned it in this elf temple. It was crazy. And we killed, what was it again? You called it a dryad?
A burnt dryad.
A burnt dryad. Well, I killed it.
You see him whip out like a small leather notebook, and he pulled out like a quill. He's got like a satchel, or rather kind of a canister of ink affixed to his leather jacket. He just like very quickly dips it in, starts like scribbling furiously. 4 heroes sail into the Emerin Forest and defeat the Dark Dryad. We have Jajiri. He just starts going off on this story that you're trying to gather as many details as he can.
And what else about the story? Yeah, we tell them, as much as Jajiri can remember. I'm sure Telperion wants to like correct a few things.
Oh yeah. Also, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like toward the end, he's like, and the final blow struck by Jajiri, the Jarl of Jarland. And I don't know if Telperion speaks up or not, but this is about to be,
He just lets it fly.
a song is about to be written in history that he will sing to many a person of Jajiri's defeat of that creature.
But I want to note that Jajiri hyped up all his friends as well. He did a really good job of saying, about how smart Rowlett is, and he also, there's got to be a whole paragraph about Telperion and his strength, and Toby Rama and his magical healing powers and stuff like that. So there's definitely, he wants to make sure he pads out those areas so that the whole crew gets their part in the song.
Love it. He is very, very enthused. He's like, thank you so much for all the information. I must gather it and refine stanzas and verse, and I cannot wait. If you ever get by Olandris, I should be singing in those bars every night for the next 2 weeks.
Well, here, take 5 gold. It'll help you on your journey.
What a blessing this day has become. Thank you, friends. Jajiri, I shall not forget. And then he will walk off and start maybe you'll even see him walk off, and he'll just like find a wooden bench and just like kind of cross his leg and start like writing furiously. Very, very enthused by the conversation.
You see that? Now we'll get free drinks in the bars. You just wait.
You could have just paid for the drinks with Silva instead.
Yeah, but now, when we go to the bars, people will know us.
And that's
They'll want us to do amazing adventurous stuff for them.
oh, so like,
And they'll pay
Boy.
because they've heard our tale.
all right, I'm on the fence of deciding whether or not this is incredibly wise or incredibly stupid. So let's keep watching and find out.
So as you guys kind of wind down from that conversation, what are Rowlett and Toby doing? Oh no, you're kidding me. That's adorable and terrifying because that mama is about to have its way with you. Oh no, you don't want to do that.
Who's he talking to?
Jokel.
Dopey Jokel sounds.
By the way.
Jokel, the meathead, like bulky, adorable giant baby, essentially. Yes. He is very enraptured. What's Roulette up to?
Roulette is like stuffing her face with the pie, like nodding along to Toby's story. Definitely keeping an eye out to see if I can track down Gallus.
Sure. As you're looking around, you don't see him necessarily right away, but as you're looking around, someone kind of bumps into you and says, my bad, and just kind of continues walking. This guy's just like a standard human, not much to him, just simple leather armor and gear, slick black hair. He's like, don't check out that place, it sucks. And if you are willing to, you can see where you just came from, which is kind of a purple drapery tent that's very elaborate and beautiful.
Felix is in there telling fortunes.
As I'm finishing my pie, Jokel, you know what's going on in that tent over there?
Oh yeah, Matriarch Moreau's hosting her tarot card readings in there.
Have I met any of the matriarchs yet?
I would say you've met all three. So let me pull up their names real quick because you and Toby both know them. There's Adola Moreau. They're all three humans and they're all three very elderly right now and kind of, getting frailer with age and stuff, but very kind. They rely very heavily on Gallus for like, a lot of odds and ends around the city. Like they're almost in charge in name only at this point. Like Gallus is just totally like the Noras help out primarily with everything.
Yeah.
But there's Adola Moreau, who is, and I can actually type these in chat, but there's Adola Moreau, Marin Veld, and Victoria Fawn. But this one, that the tent that Jokel pointed to, or I'm sorry, that is not
Adola Moreau.
Yes, Adola Moreau, Marin Veld, and Victoria Fawn. Those are the three matriarchs. They're all three, elderly, very kind women. And it seems that that tent is being occupied by Matriarch Moreau right now.
Toby, I'm not sure if you want to join me or not, but in lieu of talking to Gallus, I do kind of want to talk to at least someone in leadership here about, I guess, recent or past burning of the Emerin and impact it might be having on the town here, because wherever that little nasty tree spirit thing that we killed definitely came from a burnt tree down the Emerin, and someone should know besides us people.
Is this happening while we're talking to the dude or after?
You probably toward the end, so you may see them start making their way toward this tent.
Yeah, I want to like cartoon style, like lift up behind, like come up like elevator style behind. Yeah, whoop, and he goes tarot reading behind you.
Yeah, Telperion, we're heading off to talk to one of the matriarchs. So
say no more.
Telperion and Ajiri, just super quick backstory. There's three matriarchs in the town. Gallus is de facto kind of in charge, and I am whispering this as to not offend anyone.
Sure.
In Elvish, apparently.
I'm not. No. No, this isn't. Yeah, okay. This isn't common. There's three matriarchs who are a bit of an advisory council to the town of Forest Hollow. One of them, Matriarch Moreau, is over in the tent over there doing some sort of tarot card reading. And we're gonna just, I was planning on paying her a visit for some guidance, or at least an advisory council, I guess.
Let's go.
We're gonna go talk to her and see, maybe she'll read our fortune or something. So yeah. So I start leading the way towards the tent, while also taking a very strict mental note of the description of the gentleman who walked away.
Sure, sure.
Just
All right, sounds good. I enjoyed
As we
stories.
walk in, I want to say to Jerry, Megavon and Kimael, and I speak to you in Elvish. Like, you speak Elvish?
And Jerry's like, what? Oh, no, you were teaching me.
Yes, but you spoke full sentences in Elvish to that man.
Oh, yeah, like I said, you must have taught me. That's amazing.
Do you enjoy being a man of mystery, or do you do it on accident?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm John Cheery, Jarl of Jolland.
Right. Okay, a complete novice in Elvish then. On we go.
I am.
He genuinely looks at you confused.
And I look back at him very confused.
So you guys
I
just
am
stare at each other
surrounded by
in confusion.
confused dudes.
What did you say, Tim?
Yeah, so you got the both of us stare at each other in complete confusion.
Perfect. Excellent.
Why are all of the dudes of Wit so confused?
All right, let's go check out some fortunes.
Sure. So you proceed into this tent, and there is a frail old woman, human, sat in a chair, and there are multiple chairs set in there, but one specifically closest to the table for whoever is reading she might be doing. Oh, hello there. It is good to see you. Gallus already informed me of you guys' helping of Boris. I appreciate that very much.
Well, it was
Roulette, it's good to see you as well. Who are these other two with you?
I'll let them introduce themselves. They're new to the Nora camp as of yesterday, but just as helpful in the quest to help Mr. Boris out on his farm.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course.
So-
We can talk about any-
Telperion of House Loonsong and the Nimberthil elves highly value fortune telling. So I'm very excited to meet you.
I'm very excited to read your cards. Also, you must be one of the new arrivals in town. Gallus
Yeah.
spoke very highly of you yesterday. And excuse me, you must be Jiri. I believe I've acquired the services of your friend Moby, at least for the overnight while you were off. He's just set up nicely at Town Hall for whenever you wish. He should probably be making his way down here at some point today.
Toby is so mythical at this point.
Or
Moby.
Moby.
Moby is so mythical at this point because for 1 minute.
Wait a minute. You saw Moby? He's supposed to be getting my pack. Where is he? Tell us.
Oh, he's still in probably his quarters, I imagine. He was just like sleeping in, wasn't feeling too well all last night and all morning. So I actually brought him some soup overnight, and I think he was feeling a little better this morning, but he had quite a night of perturbed sleep.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
How do you mean? Is there something wrong?
Wait a minute. Moby brought my pack to the temple last night.
I apologize. I don't mean to offend. I can assure you Moby was with me all night. Or at least in our quarters.
Jerry, can I suggest that if you carry your own pack, these kind of mysteries might not happen?
That's strange. We'll have to talk to Moby, see his side of the story. Maybe he stuck out. I wouldn't put it past him. He's quite loyal. He might have snuck out due to his overbearing burden. Maybe even in his sleep, he sleptwalked to bring it to me. That might make sense.
He seemed pretty bent out of shape, but I don't know the young man quite that well, so perhaps it's possible. It would surprise me, though. Anyway, that's quite all right. Yes, would you care to sit down and have your cards read?
I sit down immediately.
Okay, you said your name is Telperion, correct?
Correct.
Hey, well, let me meditate over the cards. And she lights two candles, and kind of gestures for Toby Rama to kind of close the curtains. And if you do so, you're all able to kind of sit in here with each other. But it's now created a kind of darker, moodier atmosphere, and I will drag us over to that. Very simple, but also very ornate in a way, just because it's the nature of the kind of shrubbery plant work that she's got set up, and the candles and the drapery. It's a very beautiful dark space she's created out in the middle of the day. But she will hold her hand over the first card, and she's like, I do this a bit differently than many other people I've met throughout the years, but I promise fair results. I do typically ask for 1 silver if you're willing to give it.
I'll give her 2.
Oh, very kind. I'm glad we have you in town. Okay, let us pull the first card. This first card generally represents the past, something the most broken, or something you're trying to overcome is usually this card. And you can specify if you'd like it upright or upside down.
Upright.
Okay, so now I would like to have you, Telperion, roll a d20, a d4, -2.
What?
Both of them added together, then -2.
Yeah, just this total.
Oh, gotcha.
4 minus, so, 6 minus 2 is 4.
Clip it.
Wow.
No, wait, it's -2. It's 6 minus 2 is 4.
That's what I said.
6 minus 4 is 2.
That's-
No.
That's what
I rolled a 5 and I rolled a 1.
Yeah.
6 minus 2 is 4.
I also promised myself
Purple
I promised myself as DM I would not cheat on this. This is random. You have just drawn the moon card. It represents illusion, intuition, and choosing upright. It focuses on the past rather than a broken challenge one is overcoming, but rather the complexity of your previous purpose. I don't know if that means much to you, but that is what I see in this card.
Okay.
Now for the second card draw. This represents the present, or what is most core to your being and purpose. Would you like to specify upright or upside down?
Upside down.
Okay. Now I would like you to, as she draws the second card, you can roll that same thing again, a d20, a d4, -2.
8 minus 2 is 6.
The reversed tower. Something bound to your core being is pursuing the aversion of disaster, or resisting change, or perhaps in another way of saying it, bringing about change and avoiding the inevitable. Now, for the third card, I will now draw that, and that represents your future, something you will aspire to or perhaps accomplish. And once again, you can specify upright or reversed.
Upright.
And roll that same thing.
Oh my God, I rolled the same exact thing both times. 8 minus 2 is another 6.
Oh, so the tower again. And you said upright this time,
Yeah.
which is different. Oh, previously the reversed tower, and now the tower upright. Seemingly the avoidance of destruction and upheaval over previous cultural stagnation or trauma.
Can you say the last sentence one more time?
The avoidance of cultural stagnation or trauma.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I hope that was, illustrious for you, or illuminating in some regard, and thank you for your patronage.
Novair.
Thank you. Very clearly trying to be polite about she did not understand what you just said.
I do bow to her as I say it.
Okay. I will say, you probably have heard that she does this, but it's not something she does often. This is seemingly like a yearly occurrence. So, absolutely, I'd happily welcome you into this chat. Thank you, Aeridon. Thank you kindly. Yeah, you may, to speed this up, in character, I'm not going to carefully do this, but you can name off, okay, so your past card, which is the first card, go ahead and specify upright, reversed, and then roll the d20, d4 minus 2. Great question. Don't know if you can.
I did it with my physical dice. You roll your d20 and we'll roll it. I'll roll a d4 for you.
Except really quick, I need to note what Telperians were. So it was moon upright.
Yeah, and then it was upside down tower. And then it was upright tower. I didn't take good notes.
Tower, upright tower. Very interesting. Okay.
That was spot on.
Your first. Yeah. Your past represents, and you said reversed, a self-doubt, a weakness, or cowardice. Perhaps you have reflected on your past behavior and wish to embolden yourself in the future. How about your middle card, your present? What is core to your being? By the way, I don't know if I said that, but it's the reversed strength card. The card was strength, and so it was reversed strength. And everyone can absolutely feel free to get this reading if you want, and then we can call it or continue going, but I'm prepared to do this for all of you so you can all get this if you want. But
I don't mind waiting for this.
um 19 minus 2, 17. Did you specify upright or reversed? She will flip it out reversed. A rebellion, a non-conformity, new methods, pursuing something that has not been pursued before. This is the Hierophant card, which is a fancy word, but it's Hierophant is how it's spelled. Yes. All right, for your future card, what would you wish? (13 - 2 - 11). Did you specify upright or reversed? I have pulled the Justice card, seeking balance, karma, accountability, and law. Some intense right must, or some intense wrong must be righted in your future. This is weird, and it's making me think like, holy fuck, tarot's the coolest shit ever. And I swear to God, this is all random. Like I am clicking through a thing. This is so
What
cool.
was the name of the last card?
The Justice. So it was strength reversed, then Hierophant reversed.
Did we get a spelling on Hierophant?
H-I-E R-O-P-H-A-N-T.
And then the Justice upright. Hero's really cool, man.
Mine were accurate.
I hope you guys are taking good notes on these because I'm gonna need to hear them again for sure.
Of course. Thank you, Toby Rama. Roulette or Jiri, is it? Would either of you like a reading?
You first, Roulette.
I'm going to respectfully, Mistress Matriarch Adola, I will pass on the tarot card reading. Jerry, if you want, you can get your reading done. Otherwise, my inquiry, Matriarch Adola, is a bit more business oriented.
Okay, we'll do this final reading of Jiri if he wishes, and then we can talk.
Yeah, Talperia and Silver. The second one was for me.
Oh, she like just startled from oh, okay, yes, of course, please sit.
I will slide her a third silver. I'll just like drop the third silver on the table.
You see like a small smile come across her face, like almost thankful, not trying to be greedy, but also appreciative of the goodwill. But okay, for your past card, would you, it will represent something you are trying to overcome or that has influenced you in your history. Upright or reversed? And then
Upright.
Okay, upright. So now you can roll d20, d4 minus 2.
D20. All right. 9 plus 3 is 12 minus 2 is 10.
And you said upright?
Yep.
This is the Hanged Man card. A card representing uncertainty or lack of direction. I wonder if you had not had a purpose, but maybe you've acquired one since? Interesting. How about your middle card, your present, your most core being? And then you can, same thing, upright, reversed, and then d20, d4 minus 2.
I'll do reversed.
Okay.
3 minus 2, so 1.
Reversed. This is the world card, and reverse represents a lack of closure, feeling incomplete. Some sort of emptiness resides in you. It sounds like something you may need to figure out about yourself. How about your future card? Something you may achieve or aspire one day.
Upright.
Okay. Roll it.
15 and 2, so 15.
Sorry. 16, 15, 15. You said upright?
Upright.
This is the Chariot card. The Chariot upright represents determination, willpower, and focus. It seems you have been able to achieve some sort of inner peace that allows you to focus on the task at hand. And that is all I'm seeing at this time. Thank you very much for taking a seat here.
Mr. Sadola, it's
Yes.
no tarot card reading for me, but more of a I guess a business meeting. You've heard of our exploits over the past day, our travel into the forest and saving farmer Boris's horse. I guess the only thing I really want to do is bring to your attention that I think the burning of the Emerin may be having some additional adverse effects than more than just a forest being lost. Some spirits tied to those trees have been making their way corrupted either into town or adjacent to town. Not so much, I guess, any sort of action plan right now, but more just bringing to your attention and maybe seeking some guidance on what the Nora should do.
Well, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, and I do want to assure you that I take it very seriously. I know that in general, Gallus and I specifically have had many conversations on how to further protect our little town here. As the world grows and changes, things come up that we can't prepare ourselves for anymore. We are still a small town, but big enough that we could pose value to those that seek to take advantage of us. I know Gallus was specifically very elated when our esteemed guests Telperion and Jiri arrived to town because he was hoping to bolster the forces of the Noras. Um, Specifically with the burning of the Emrin, a great tragedy indeed, and I admit I have not taken it as a sign of a threat to our everyday life. I would say the closest portion of burned forest must be hundreds of miles, perhaps not hundreds, but at least 100 miles east of here. So I would be surprised that the spirit, as you say, made its way all the way here. Certainly, I admit that that seems to be the case, but regardless, I note and acknowledge that things from that landscape are fleeing to new territory and could pose a threat to our people here. But it does surprise me something so far has spread its influence to our humble little town.
DM, quick question: how did we the non fucked up dryad was the one who told us that the fucked up dryad came from a burned tree in the Amarin?
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yes. And just geographically, you're tracking with what Adola Moreau is saying right now, that the burning of the Emerald was an enormous portion of this forest that burned, probably like borderline 10% of the massive Emerald forest. So 10% is a huge number. But like she said, the closest portion of that fire probably is 100 miles to the east. Like that's pretty far. So now you're like, holy shit, that dryad must have fucking made a trek to get all this way. But
Mr. Stoll, I guess my only other question is, I'm not sure that this might be a more of a Gallus question, but with the state of the current Nora tribe, you yourself have acknowledged that this town of Forest Hollow could be of value. Have the matriarchs ever thought of expanded, I guess, or in maybe taking over, so exerting your will? I'm not really quite sure what I'm asking here, but instead of being kind of on the defensive as these other incursions happen, making Forest Hollow a bit of a more of a force to be reckoned with.
I certainly see your point, and I am ashamed to admit that I don't know what those next steps may be. We've been small enough that I haven't frankly needed that type of world presence, borderline militaristic mindset ever in how to establish ourselves in a way that protects us. Certainly Gallus in his history would have much more of an idea of how to do that. I don't know how much he's shared with you about his past, but if he opens up to you, you may learn of what capabilities he has. And I know he has been considering a trip to the capital recently. I think he's been putting it off, frankly. I think we've thrived in a way off the multiple shipments of weaponry, lumber, stone that we get from the queen herself. She takes care of us. She sends more shipments here than I imagine most townships get. So I think we've been provided for relatively well through Gallus's connections. So I think he has considered reaching out to the capital again to see what else can be done. So I would speak with him further on the matter.
I certainly will. I've only been here a week or so, but Forest Hollow is quite a beautiful place, and I do want to make sure that this town is taken care of.
She reaches across the table and kind of grasps your hand in her frail, elderly hands, very sweet and gentle, and just looks you in the eye and says, "Trust me, I appreciate more than you know that you've only just begun living here and you're already trying to help and protect us. That is what makes us succeed over all these decades and centuries in the first place. Thank you, Roulette.
If nothing else, I think we ourselves gonna jump back to the festival. I might try to track down Gallus and also track down another pint of ale.
What's this festival called?
It's like informally known as the Harvest Festival. That's always celebrated on the equinox, where it represents like most people's, and you like from bits of conversation throughout the festival, you've put together that because Boris just had his harvest. He had most of his crops recently harvested and sold or allocated where they need to go. And notably, the Harvest Festival here in Forest Hollow, and it's called the Heart of Hearthfire. And Hearthfire is, Skyrim calendar equivalent of September. So this is September 23rd, effectively, the equinox. And most harvests take place before this day. And famously, there's a corn maze race, and the corn is the last thing to be harvested the day after the festival. So they leave the corn vibrant and growing and tall for this maze that takes place during the Harvest Festival. Then the following day they harvest the corn, and that kind of represents the end of their fall harvest. But it's called the Heart of Hearthfire. Yes.
I'm gonna make it a point to be the last person out of the tent.
Okay.
And
I hold open the tent for you to go.
no.
I'm completely down. Game plan. Let's
On
go
the way
get some
out,
more
I-
pumpkin beers and then go to the corn maze.
On the way out, I say it's corn, also known as maize.
Oh my god.
So maize.
I stand up, but I quickly turn around and I table a silver towards Matriarch Adola and I say, upright, just the future.
Oh, very well. She pulls your card. Roll it. I fucking love this. I will say with Toby specifically, with your passive perception, you can hear what is going on here. I know. Maybe you don't hear the results, but you hear Roulette ask the question.
The frivolity.
As you continue conversation with Telperion and Jiri. Okay, Roulette, D20, D4 minus 2.
10 upright.
Okay, 8, 10 upright. Oh, I believe I just pulled this card for your friend. The Hanged Man. This represented his past, but it seems to represent your future. Some sort of sacrifice or perspective change, a lack of direction or uncertainty you will have to come to terms with.
What was that? A sacrifice or what?
A sacrifice, an uncertainty, or a lack of direction that you're going to have to come to terms with.
Much appreciated, Matriarch Adola. Enjoy the rest of the fest.
Thank you. You as well, Roulette. It was good getting to know you a bit more. And you are all welcome to peruse the festival. To move things along a little quickly, I'm not trying to, skip over any RP stuff. You guys are absolutely able to, if you each want to sacrifice 2 copper, you can get another pumpkin beer, and you can go up to the corn maze where Rhea is actually in charge of it, but is unaware of its path, the route inside the maze network, but she's in charge of signups, and she is eager to participate. And so just so you know, when we begin next session, we can start with the corn maze, and It's teams of 2 that go in separate locations, and you can sign your names up if you wish to participate. Notably, 2 of the participants are Rhea, and she's joined by Rebecca, the wood elf that you've met and are familiar with. Noticeably, there's 2 other names signed up right now, Joel and Reed, that you guys don't know those names familiar, must be out of towners. And you're absolutely willing or able to sign up if you wish.
Usual.
Who's
what-
Rhea and who?
What I would suggest is partner up, pick a partner, and you guys can pair up, and then we can do the maze next session if you would like.
Until Theron's like doesn't want to be with Jajiri, probably.
I feel like that might not be true. I feel like you might want to get more insight into why is Jiri like so mysterious. So
I'll
you
go
guys
with Yuri.
yeah, you're all welcome to sign up if you wish. I'm not trying to force that on you, but you're welcome to sign up.
I already deducted the copper.
I think we got this. We can show those those pair of royalty over there how to make their way through a corn maze.
What was the staff called?
Staff of serpent kind.
That staff of the Python.
Python. Staff of the Python. Oh, coding joke. Yeah.
I wrote staff of the eye python.
I knew it was a snake. Wait, no, I have it because I have
Yeah, I kind of like staff of serpent kind.
broken staff of the Python. Oh, busted staff of the Python. I gotta find Ira somewhere.
Did you add the scrolls to your inventory?
I added the Critter. Critter, I tried to look up scroll of protection from evil and good, and I couldn't find it.
It's good.
That is strange to me, but I might have to custom create scrolls. I've never done that before, but
I found scroll of protection, but I couldn't find scroll of protection from evil and good.
Okay.
It's evil and good, not
I'll
good.
look into it.